Fort Lauderdale presents The Neil Rogers Show. To talk to Neil, call 567-0560, toll-free for Dade and Broward, or pound 560 on your cell phone. The opinions of Neil, his guests, callers, or anyone else on the show do not necessarily reflect those of WQAM, Beasley Reed Acquisitions, or the Beasley Broadcast Group. Now, Neil Rogers on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Sometimes I feel myself.
It's new from D's Discount Productions. Yes, potential car thieves, be on notice. You will now be thrown back from any car you try to steal with the piercing sound of the all-new Macarena alarm. Yes, a Macarena alarm. Get yours today.
Al Gore, as you have never heard or seen him before.
4 years ago, you gave me your nomination to be vice president. This is some crowd. I've been watching you doing that Macarena on television. And if I could have your silence, I would like to demonstrate for you the Al Gore version of the Macarena.
I am not trying to do
Macarena. 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 Would you like to see it again?
No.
Tengo mucha emoción. Tengo mucha emoción. When your alarm goes off in the morning, Macarena. When one of your children reaches for cereal and fruit, Macarena. 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 Macarena.
All right, nice going there, Al. And by the way, thanks for inventing radio. It's 10:03 at 560 WQAM. Yeah, it's all over but the shout. And, of course, we went through all of this business, which I guess made it a little bit more exciting than it otherwise might have been, as opposed to just coronating Bush and Gore, which we knew that a long time ago, didn't we? It was going to be Bush and Gore, and we had to go through spending millions and millions and millions of dollars, which is good for the economy. Well, I better check that, because you know who's speaking again this morning?
He's an asshole.
Yeah, he's speaking again. Every day now he's got to make another goddamn speech. Just put him in a closet and dummy him up. Well, that's not too bad. The Dow's only down 10 points, and the Nasdaq's up 41. Just checking momentarily, because they had him on there again, just like Ted David promised. They put him in a box. The only problem was they forgot to close the lid, and he came out again and made another speech today. Bop, 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 bop. He just won't shut up, this goddamn bastard. Anyway, speaking of Jewish things, what happened with Purim? We were just talking about that this morning here. And sometimes I feel like the holidays are passing us by, because it just dawned on me. I'm in the shower this morning thinking about it.
Happy Purim!
And generally Purim comes in February. Like most Jewish women, it comes in February. But at any rate, and we get our Hamantash in here, and I'm thinking to myself, it's the 8th of March. Has Purim already come and gone? Is that possible? And unfortunately, on our Jewish calendar, and we've already torn off the February thing. So maybe somebody in the audience will know. Give us the answer immediately if Purim has already come and gone. And if it has, do you realize how we're fading from existence here? Sal Falcone, our best friend with Soleil water, left us in the lurch. Do we have any water?
No.
The tap is dry. We haven't got a bottle. We haven't got nothing. I got to bring in my own crappy diet soda here this morning every day now, because Sal Falcone has left us in the lurch with Soleil water. Purim comes and goes. Does anybody call and offer to send us Hamantaschen?
No.
I bet you it's already gone. Here's a mobile in Coral Springs. I bet here's a Jew. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Boy.
Purim hasn't come yet.
Oh, it hasn't?
Has not. No,
well, when's it coming?
You know, you sound like my wife.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not exactly sure the date. We send the kids to the temple, and we always get, you know, you pay a couple bucks in advance, and they send you some Hamantaschen home, and they haven't sent them, and they haven't missed school yet, which is even more important.
There you go.
And it's not Purim yet.
Okay, thanks for the good news. I feel much better.
All right, Neil.
Zygazant.
Bye.
Okay, and by the way, today is Ash Wednesday.
Oh!
That's why I'm asking. I mean, in equal time, us Jews have got to have some holidays. We got Easter coming up. We got Pesach to kind of balance it out, just like Hanukkah and Christmas. You got to keep up with the Goyim, baby. That's why we made up all these other holidays. Or was it the other way around? Which came first? No, seriously, this porn business is very serious. It's one of the things I look forward to. It's about my only, when you're a dietary Jew like I am, when the only thing you care about that has to do with Jewishness is the food part. And believe me, that's pretty important. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's right. Like cheese blintzes, potato latkes. Oh, good stuff. Good crap. You can knock those Hasidim all you want. But one thing about the Jews, they know how to cook. I'll tell you that.
Uh-huh.
Now, what do you eat on Ash Wednesday? Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Isn't this a fasting day? Let me see. Christians in several traditions will observe today as Ash Wednesday, the start of 6 weeks of Lent. The season is a period of solemnity before Good Friday, the traditional observance of Jesus' death, which will be observed on April 21st this year. Seems to me that everything is like pushed back this year. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Like a little bit behind the times. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil?
Yes, sir?
Good morning.
Buenos dias.
Did you get the date yet for Purim?
No.
Okay. I have a calendar that says April 21st.
April
March
20,
20
March
21st.
21st.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. March 21st.
Oh, don't do that
That's
to me.
right.
I can't wait that long.
Sorry about
So
that.
that's only 13 lucky days away. And we all know who wears number 13.
I forget. Oh, wait. Well, that's Danny, right?
We're trying to forget.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, one other thing. Speaking of sports.
Yes.
I got mixed feelings, but you made me a hockey fan. I've never been a sports fan, but I finally know what these friends of mine, what their broken hearts have been like over the years.
Yeah.
So I thank you for introducing me to that terrible aspect of hockey fandom. But I still enjoy watching the Panthers, and I'm pulling
Yeah,
for them.
too bad they missed that trip to Washington last night. They just didn't show up.
Yeah, well, better luck next time, I guess.
Okay, have a great day, pal.
You too.
Zagazun. Okay, March 21st. See, now I feel better. I don't feel like we've been slighted.
Happy Purim!
Exactly. So we got 13 days to look forward to some delicious hamantashen. Not those little nasty, stale goyish things. The ones that Cheryl always used to when says, "Oh, those are the real things. Those are the real hamantashen." Yeah, I got your real thing over here, sweetheart. Those are for goyim. Real hamantashen are the big brown ones. Ever have a big brown one? Soft, with the poppy seeds on the outside and on the inside. Mun, mung, whatever. No, it's called mun. Mung. I love that mung on the inside. And especially when they're warm, you know. What's the place that always sends us the boxes of the fresh, warm hamantashen? What's the name of that place, that bakery?
Is it Pastry Lane?
Pastry Lane. Now we're talking.
Oy!
Pastry Lane. No kin to Lois, but nevertheless, I love Pastry Lane. So we got something for all the religious nuts out there. We got Lent. And getting back to that thing about the fasting, let's see. Lent is a somber season marked by prayer, introspection, repentance, and the priest gets to do you a couple of extra times if you're under 21. For Catholics, it also includes fasting and abstinence from meat on Fridays for those 14 and older. Those under 14 must go see Father O'Toole, and he'll let them know whether they can have any meat or not. 9 minutes after 10, we got a tremendous response on our poll yesterday. Wait till you hear our listener survey on who you listen to in the morning. It is unbelievable. Not really. It's pretty predictable. I'm only surprised we have that much crossover with the worst team, you know. Why would anybody listen to that show? 9 minutes after 10. In fact, that's what most people wrote in on the computer. They said, why would we listen to that goddamn show?
No portion of this broadcast may be reproduced.
No.
Express written permission of WQAM Beasley Reed Acquisition Corp.
Thanks for calling!
Don't you love Bill Bradley?
No!
Don't we need Bill Bradley?
No.
He's more than 6 feet tall. Played pro basketball. Don't you love Bill Bradley?
No.
Yeah, we need him badly. He's gonna win the race. People love him 'cause he isn't Albert Gore. Did I mention that he isn't Albert Gore?
Yeah.
He played for the Knicks. He doesn't bore us sick. Yeah, we love him 'cause he isn't Albert Gore.
Not Al Gore. Not Al Gore. Not Al Gore. Yeah, he's not Al Gore.
Yeah.
I'll say it one time more. We love Bill a lot. Mostly 'cause he's not boring Albert Gore. Well, don't you love Bill Bradley?
No.
Don't you love Bill I'll tell you one thing, he
Bradley?
did the impossible. Nobody believed that anybody could come along and make Al Gore look exciting, and he did it. I mean, he is just as wooden as the cigar store Indian, Bill Bradley. Good guy, never stole a freight train, and good luck to him and his boring wife. And the same with John McCain. There's a guy also never stole a caboose, and he's full of crap, but nevertheless, he turned out a whole bunch of people who have no idea what he's all about because he wasn't George W. That's why people liked him, because he wasn't George W. He's gone. They're all done. It's all over with. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, John McCain. Bye-bye, Bill Bradley. They're all gone. And Alan Keyes, though, he's still hanging on for that Schwarzer vote. You notice that no matter what thing they show up there, he still gets his 5%. No matter what state it is, no matter what time of day, morning, noon, and night, Purim, Sukkot, Good Friday, Ash Wednesday, Alan Keyes has got his 5%. Those self-hating Schwarzers. Probably the same ones who like Willie Logan. Oh, and speaking of that, before I get into the poll result, and please don't tell me line 4 screwed up again today. Oh, it doesn't even make a sound now. Well, this is good because Greg Reed, I saw him this morning, and before he went,
Yeah.
he said the new phone system's arriving today. It was shipped yesterday. And, of course, what he forgot is that he already lied and told us it was shipped last Friday. But now it was shipped yesterday afternoon, today being Tuesday.
Pathological liar.
But at any rate, so we can't get too excited. And what did you say? Also, line 8, who do we appreciate? Oh, man, listen to that sound. Here we go. It's QAM at its best. Buy that stock, baby, so we can afford to get a new phone system in here. See, we could afford the phone, we just couldn't afford the shipping and handling. Oh! Thank you. Anyway, the thing that really frosts my ass today, there's always got to be something to frost my ass, and today, the thing with these guys, and we had a couple of calls on it yesterday, but it really didn't sink in because I didn't realize how massive the fallout was from these asshole bus drivers. One Florida protester strands students. I get home yesterday, I watched the news last night, and on every local newscast, they show all these kids who are like sitting around, wandering around, waiting and waiting and waiting, who've basically been stranded by a bunch of assholes. And I'm going to tell you the biggest asshole of them all is the guy with the black straw hair, that Dr. Henry Fraud. It wasn't bad enough that he, chased away the TV networks for all the good publicity that Miami Education might have gotten and all the other crap that he does. But here he's on there, and he says, pickups were delayed upwards a couple of hours based on the high number of bus drivers using some form of earned leave, he said. Earned leave. So what he's trying to do is rationalize that they had earned this leave and it's like the paramedics. Suppose all the paramedics decide they want to go to some goddamn protest somewhere, and they said, well, we've got X number of earned leave, and we're all going at the same time, and if a bunch of people die, too bad, because we're going. And as of 6:30 last night, right at the end of some of the newscast, the local newscast, they show, and there still are a bunch of kids sitting on the goddamn curb and hanging around and looking up in the sky and wondering what the hell life was all about. So a lot of these kids missed exams, by the way, who are now going to have to take makeup exams because they couldn't get to school. The safety of the kids was jeopardized. And I say that every school driver who went to Tallahassee with or without a banjo on its knee to protest this one floor. See, what I don't understand is these people got the jobs. What are they bitching about? They'd be having a job. And I think what they're nervous about is if they do away with affirmative action, please, soon, that they'll actually put some people who know how to drive, who are qualified, and kick their asses out. What do you say to that, huh? I say, yeah, kick their ass out now. If you ever saw the way most of these school bus drivers drive down here. I'd say they're about a half a step away from the jitney drivers. You know the jitney drivers in Dade County?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, those maniacs, the ones who drive up on the curb and kind of make up their own road rules as they go along. Yeah. They just make it up as they go along. These people not only don't have a driver's license, they don't have a green card, a Visa, a MasterCard, an American Express green card. They've got nothing. But every single one of these school bus drivers who went off to Tallahassee yesterday and stranded those kids, they should be fired now, and the first one ought to be fired is that Henry Fraud. At least give him some spare time. We could send him up to see Chuck Alfieri and get some real hair. That is the most. It looks like that Ron Popeil spray crap on his head. Yeah, it looks like somebody took a bunch of straw and then took a couple of cans of that Ron Popeil spray and just sprayed it on his goddamn head.
Nobody told him you're not supposed to use your mustache wax on your hair.
Jesus Christ, what a silly-looking goose. And this guy's got something to do with education? The kids are looking at him and squeezing themselves. They're in hysterics looking at this asshole. Man. 573 of the 1,680 regular drivers were off in Dade County. In Broward, they said not too bad. Because in Broward County, they know if they mess around in Broward County, they'll stick Sheriff Ken on them. That's right. From the BS. Oh! We don't take any BS from those Schwarzers in Dade County. I'll tell you that right now. Or anybody else. Schwarzer, swingers, anybody that begins with an S. Spokesman, no BS from them either. Nice going there last night, spokesman. Oh, I'm sorry. They missed the plane. Is there anybody who can debate that? I mean, if you want to go to some demonstration on a weekend or when you've got a legitimate holiday and you've got a substitute there to do your job, that's fine. But just to strand the kids, basically what they should be doing is running up and down with placards saying, I don't give a goddamn about the kids I drive to and from school every day. It's a living. Mach's the Leben, as they say in China. Should be fired today, right now. And should be lined up right. They should have like a whipping post, and they should let the kids give all the kids that were stranded yesterday, give them a whip and let them just whip about 40 lashes on the back of all these assholes. That's right. That's what Kunta Kinte told me. He said that's what they should be doing right now. Whip them into shape. Assholes. See, you people who are not qualified to be doing your job, I can understand why you're all peeing in your pants about the end of affirmative action, because now people that might be qualified, people that might be a little bit more dedicated, they're going to wind up getting the jobs. And that's the way it ought to be. Here's a mobile in Palm Beach. Hello.
Well, Neil, I'm glad you mentioned fired because I believe I'm on my way to get fired from my job before I take my life.
Really?
Yeah. I just want to throw out a few quick questions if I could. I don't.
Well, are you going to jump from an overpass or blow your brains out? We'd like to get Channel 7 up there.
Well, I'll be on the road. I'll be on the road probably.
Okay.
I know when people mention Vegas, I always ask you very stupid questions about where they should go and so forth and so on. But
probably to a hotel, to a casino would be good.
Exactly, and where to eat and so forth.
Right.
But, there's a possible job opportunity for me there, and I've never been there. And I know you've mentioned before that you said, "Oh, I would never live there."
No, I would not.
But before you hang up, if I ask this question, is there any particular reason why you wouldn't live there, or just because you just don't want to live there?
Because for me, there's nothing else. It's a cowboy town as far as the city. I mean, it's okay. It's beautiful out there. And if you've got a family with kids, the education is great. But it's just not for me.
Because I'm looking for something in the long run.
Because I'd be broke in 6 months. That's why. I mean, I'm not a compulsive gambler, but if I was out there and it's available all the time and I got nothing else to do, that's what I would lose all my money.
Okay. And by the way, I grew up as a Catholic, and when my mother would say not to eat meat on Friday, I would do it purposely. And now I'm married to a Jew, and I was going to tell you when Purim was. And I like to go to temple because I get to wear a hat and I get to wear a shawl. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that. And if before I take my life, I'll give you a call on the air, and I think that'll be a really cool thing.
Excellent. Okay.
Bye.
Good luck. Then he won't have to worry about going to Vegas. He's going to blow his brains out right here on the show. We'll let you have advance notice on that. We get about a 95 share. Our phone is really bad, screwed up again today, but we don't care because we got the new one supposedly coming in today. Not that Greg would lie to us about that, but he already lied about so many other things so many times, and even just about this thing so many times. Did George Corso show up and fix our in-house phone here?
No.
No, I just thought I'd mention that again. But I'm not going to get upset about it because, like I said on yesterday about Monday, I mean, it's just life is too short. Just like this guy's going to blow his brains out. Life is too short. Anyway, let me just, there's something very bizarre in this little clipping here in the Sun Sentinel. This piece, by the way, from James Davis, you know, the religion editor for the Sun Sentinel, who twists and manipulates all the stuff that you read in the newspaper, like his review of Farewell to God by Charles Templeton. But nevertheless, he says fasting is defined, this having to do with Ash Wednesday and Lent. He says fasting is defined as one full meal and 2 light meals during the day. What? That's fasting? 1 full meal and 2 light meals during the day? I got news for all you Jews out there that fast on Yom Kippur. I don't think this is what we had in mind, okay? But here's the thing that I find very perplexing. He says it is required in the Archdiocese of Miami for those between 21 and 59, and in the Palm Beach Diocese between 18 and 59. Both fasting and abstinence are required on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. And he also says Good Yontif, whatever he means by that. So what is that? If you live in Palm Beach, you have to fast between 18 and 59, but in Miami, 21 and 59. And in Broward, I think it's 55 and 59 because there's nobody under 55 in Broward anyway, is there?
No.
No. How do you like that? Why would be there? Would there be a difference? I don't get it. Well, maybe somebody be explaining to us. Poll results from yesterday. Our poll question on the internet was, what show do you listen to? What radio show in the morning? Needless to, I'm reading it from an old number. We had 593 votes, which I think is the most we've had on an overnight poll so far. 168 listen to Howard. Is that a surprise?
No.
No. 28.3%. Other was number 2, 151. Now, other, I mean, we didn't have time to go through and make a long list of every goddamn radio station in the Tri-County area. Other could have been like Magic and Smegma and the Spic stations, Radio Romancia, and then at XDJ and whatever it is. Kiss. Kiss this. But amazingly, the big shocker in here was Rick and Suds, 130, 21.9%. In fact, now that I look at this thing, they weren't that far behind Howard. He had 168. They had 130. The first team, 92, 15.5%. Pretty weak. And the poll result, too. Paul and Ron, that's old, is that old Paul and young Ron, or they had 38, 6.4%. Power 96 had 9, 1.5%. And Y100 had 5, 0.8%. So that's our result. And, of course, our poll question today, so we don't have to waste our time on the air here on this show. Obvious poll question. Should Dan Marino retire? That's the first choice. Play another year with the Dolphins? They don't want him. Or the third choice will be sign with the Vikings. And we'll find out. We'll just get it all over with, okay? The Dan Marino business on our poll today on neilrogers.com. Should he retire? Should he play another year with the Dolphins or sign with the Vikings? Bye, Danny. Thanks for everything, Danny. Bye-bye. 26 after 10 at 560 WQAM.
How young is too young?
Georgie Bush says that his nose is clean and never puts stuff in it.
'Cause he's running for the White House, so he just can't admit it.
Stone drunk, and that's not all. He even downed a few speedballs.
In college, any drug would do. He even dropped some acid too.
Why won't Georgie just come out and simply say he did it?
He preferred the press would shut their mouths.
But it's none of your goddamn business.
He did more than what you think.
But he washed it down the
Does
sink.
he prefer cocaine to hash?
Yes. That's the question that he does.
Can he make his point much clearer?
Like a razor on a mirror.
But he wants us to believe
that he didn't do anything.
Georgie Bush says that his nose is clean and never puts stuff in it. 'Cause he's running for the White House, so he just can't admit it. Georgie's clean, Georgie's clean, Georgie's clean.
That's at 560 WQAM. By the way, Bill Bradley, CNN announces has dropped out.
Oh!
Right, CNN says they've learned. So in other words, they think he's dropping out. Is that a shock to anybody?
No.
No. Did he win any state last night?
No.
And how about his home state, Missouri? Did he win there?
No.
As a matter of fact, I'd be pretty embarrassed if I were him. In Missouri, which is his home state, he had 34% and Gore had 64%. In his home state. They said, hey, you're a good guy, Bill. What a basket. We love you on the Knicks, but get out of here. You're boring. You're bothering us. So he's out, and it's, why waste your time? Okay, it's Gore, and maybe we'll start doing a series of polls, not like right away, but like one a month until the election between Gore and Bush. Bush still scares the hell out of me. I look at him, and it scares me. Yeah, nasty, mean-spirited. You can see it in his puss, and you can also see that. Have you ever seen him and Greg Reed together?
No.
I think it's the same person. You can see that vacuous look in his face, that blank stare in his eyes. Like that. Or kind of like that. Marty McSorley charged with assault by the Vancouver police. Very bad idea, by the way. Very bad. Keep your nose out of it, Vancouver police say. I mean, it was a grotesque thing what he did, but when you're in a violent sport that condones violence, the crap happens. Bad idea. Dino Cicerelli served one night in jail back in 1988, was signing autographs all night is what I hear, but at any rate. So I just thought I'd mention that, and also for anybody who missed the West Coast score last night, really not on the West Coast, up there in Edmonton, Alberta, which is a little bit west. Curtis Joseph gets his 4th shutout of the year. Final score, Toronto 2, Edmonton 0. Edmonton, no score. Nice going there, Cujo. Just thought I'd mention that in passing. What are we going to do about these goddamn school bus drivers? See, if I'm a parent of one of those kids, the kids are pissed off, but if I'm a parent, I'm furious. I'm outraged. I'd like to take that Henry Fraud guy and just pull out that goddamn straw from his head one piece at a time. For me, that would have been the last straw. Here's a mobile in Delray. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi, Neil. I'm a first-time caller. My name
All right.
is Scott from Delray.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk about hockey for a second, if I could. I think Terry and Brian Murray should be driving those school buses.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I lived with them in Baltimore, Washington for 10 years when I was there, and I had that regime of that boredom. It's just horrible. It's horrible. I need to vent my frustration today for a lackluster play. And I'm a fan, but it just can't believe I continue to punish myself night after night watching this crap.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, it's getting really ponderous, and people don't realize. See, the only game. What the hell was that?
I'm at work right now.
People don't realize that the only game they've won in recent memory was that a week ago Wednesday against the Leafs, and the Leafs didn't show up here at all that night. In fact, that's the only game they've lost in their last 8. But the team is playing worse and worse and worse, and they're playing with absolutely no intensity. Last night, as you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, was the biggest game of the year to this point, and they didn't even bother to show up.
They should have nailed the 2 points in.
Right. There was no intensity, no effort. I mean, the lackluster would have been a compliment for their performance last night. And in the meantime, BM, you know, who's still basking in his successful trades, which we give him credit for, like Burry, that's all well and good. But in the meantime, the trade deadline is 6 days away, a week from yesterday, and he's like nothing. He's not doing anything.
Yeah, I wait for Burry. He waits at the red line to get a pass and go on a breakaway.
I'm not going to knock him, but his play last night was grotesque.
Listen, Dallas and Detroit Sunday night was a real hockey game. It was the first game I've enjoyed in months.
Yeah.
And then I have a store in Delray. We sell boneless fish assholes here with 418 sphincters in there. I thought you might like to know about it.
Okay.
I want to send you a can. What's your address? Your mailing address?
Uranus. 5670560, pound 5. What the hell is this man talking about? 5670560. I think the pressure of last night's game got to him. He just cracked under the pressure. Our phone system is effed up again today, by the way. Just thought you might want to write that down in your diarrhea. Poll question on Dan Marino today. Just go to neilrogers.com and stick your vote in there. We got a massive result, almost 600 votes yesterday. I'd like to start getting about 1,000 a day. It would make me feel like we're, redeeming ourselves here on this show. Especially, and then, of course, if and when this phone system arrives and if and when it really works, then we'll find out what the hell's going on here. It's only been 2.5 years. The system is in the mail. The check is in the mail. The phone system is in the mail. Greg's brain is in the mail. That's coming any day, too. Here's Oakland Park. Hello.
Yeah. Hey, you remember that movie, Sleeping with the Enemy?
I beg your pardon?
The movie, Sleeping with the Enemy.
Julia Roberts, yes?
Okay, I want to ask you another question.
Well, what about it?
I'm going to lead up to it. You know what's the number one problem in this world?
And what is that, sir?
Religion. Sleeping with a goddamn enemy.
Sleeping with an enema, yeah?
Enemy, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's what religion is.
Uh-huh.
All this religion going to hell in a handbasket.
Hell in a handbasket, that's right. You got it. Well, listen, happy Ash Wednesday and happy Purim, too, my friend. And Manishtana Halala Hazeh. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Are we getting any explanations about that thing about Ash Wednesday and about how come you have to fast in Palm Beach County one age and in Miami another age? What kind of religion is that? That it all depends on geography, and maybe if you live up in Peoria, you have to fast like every between 17.5 and 28. I mean, what is that? So I guess the different archdiocese, they just make it up as they go along, all depending on how many child molesting priests they have at the moment in their contingent. Here's a mobile in Sunrise. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Okay.
I'm just calling I agree with you about the bus drivers. I think they should all be fired.
How come I'm not getting a lot of response about that? Every time I bring up anything that has to do with the parents and their kids, there is no response in this town, whether it's the crappy education, kids going to school in the goddamn porta potties, and the school bus drivers leaving the kids in the lurch yesterday, and we get nothing from these people.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, most of these bus drivers, they're all minorities. I mean, how do they get their jobs? Because of the affirmative action that's put them into their jobs.
Right. That's right. And you know something? They're walking advertisements for the fact that affirmative action has got to end because most of them are incompetent.
And I feel that, if you do something in this country, you should be based upon the merit and be rewarded that way, the way Governor Bush is saying.
Absolutely correct, sir.
Okay. The other thing I want to talk about, Neil, was I got a situation going on that's just unbelievable with these old people again in Florida. I mean, they drive you crazy. I have a house that's in Margate. It's in a section where they're trying to make it a 55 or an older community. And I've tried to complain to different commissions, different human rights groups, and every time I go to anybody, all they have to say is, well, that's just the law, that's what's passed, and blah, blah, blah. And basically, you have no rights. The people that are 55 and older, all their rights, that they have all the rights in the world, you have no rights, and that's the way it is. And it's just too damn bad if you don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to Florida, sir. That's all I can tell you.
It's disgusting.
This is not a place for living people. This is a place for dead people.
If someone needs to, people that are under 55, young people need to wake up in this world and realize what's going on because they're really getting stuck up there. You know what?
And thank God I'm 57. Have a great day. Good luck. 21 before 11 at 560 WQM. That's right. I'm one of them now. I'm a senior citizen almost. Oh, boy. This is the day I've been waiting for.
Boy.
Officially announced that I'm a senior citizen. I'm an old fart. How do you like that? Yeah. Take a sniff of that. Why would anybody come here? Unless, of course, it's for a job or like necessity, absolute life and death. Why would anybody be here under the age of 100 unless they have no choice? This is not a place. Illegal aliens and dying people. That's what this town's all about. And they wonder why nobody shows up at the sporting events and I'm sitting here day after day begging and pleading to talk to living and breathing people because there aren't any living and breathing people. Maybe like 10% of us. And the rest of the people are one of the above. Illegal aliens, old farts. And there's nothing that smells worse than an old fart. 20 before 11 at 560 WQM. Look at the response we're getting on that school bus driver thing, huh? Shame on you. You know something? I feel sorry for your kids. I really do. For the kids that grow up in this area. You talk about apathetic, lackadaisical, indifferent. They just don't give a crap.
1 million times for Neil Rogers. He's in his aisle.
And now, on the campaign trail with George W. Bush. Today, America's candidate addresses the unionized workers at South Carolina's Turbine Town Factory.
Great to be here in Nevada. South Carolina, Nevada. I want to be your president because I can relate to the ignorant blue-collar worker. Don't say that. The ignorant worker all over the world.
Hey, Bush, what do you know about working?
Never have worked a day in my entire life. Hands smooth, silky, palm olive, you're soaking in it. Let's go to the next question.
Yo, man!
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, you gonna legalize marijuana?
Good question. Important. Substantive. Marijuana legalization? No. Absolutely not. Cocaine? Yes. PCP? Heroin? Probably. Barbiturates? Amphetamines? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Now you?
What are you gonna do for the black man?
Thanks for asking. First thing I'd like to do, see me one up close. Not too close, no touching. Perhaps maybe get a what? Can I get a what?
All right, George W. Bush, thank you very much. We gotta go,
Can I get a what?
We gotta go.
On the campaign trail with George W. Bush.
1046 at 560 WQM, a horrendous 22-car pileup on I-10 near Wellborn, Florida. Do you have any idea where that is? Way the hell up north. North of Gainesville. Anyway, I-10 between I-75 and Lake City. And because they got a fire going there, another one of those brush fires, so visibility is real limited, they had a 22-car pileup, 5 dead at least, and 20 people injured. See, it really kind of pays to watch CNN here, even though I would rather watch much music every day, but we might actually know what's going on in the world. So I better go back to this, you know what I'm saying? In case the market crashes, something minor like that. Since we don't have a newswire, since it isn't a real radio station, you know what I'm talking about? Right, because a real newswire would cost money. And speaking of that, maybe we can afford a real newswire because now, what the hell did I do with it? I must have thrown it out. Eric faxed me this stuff from, oh yeah, here it is, Yahoo Finance. They must be crazy. They must have John Henry syndrome up there at Yahoo Finance.
I must be crazy. I must be nuts.
Well, it's not them. It's Bank of America Securities rates Beasley Broadcasting a strong buy. And CSFB, another one of these hot shots, they listed at buy today. So they've been upgraded by two people with a lot of acid. So I'd rush right out and buy it, wouldn't I?
No.
No, I wouldn't touch it with your money. 5670560. We got a new poll, a final poll here from yesterday. 611 votes. Howard 176, other 154, Rick and Suds 135, First Team 94, Paul and Ron 38, Power 96.9, Bob 105. So Howard nearly 30%, other 25%, Rick and Suds 22%. Worst team, 15%. That means only a little more than 1 out of every 7 people who listen to this show listens to the worst team on this station in the morning. And you have my sympathies. Speaking of that, here's a fax that says, my name is Victor. I've been listening to your show for years. It's really upsetting to know the majority of people in this town care more about Dan Marine No Hope rather than this ridiculous bus protest that delays the education of our children. It's amazing government would allow these people to attend to those things and continue to keep their jobs as drivers. As a person who's traveled all over the world, would this happen in Europe, he says?
No.
Japan?
No.
Any place else civilized?
No.
No. Nice going, Victor. Right on. Victor cares. How's that line 8 coming, by the way? Is that thing working? Oh, no wonder we're having problems getting all the calls that we should be getting. We have massive, gigantic, oozing phone problems. I think we should just leave that on all day. Because that sounds like one that's not going to go away, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, it sounds like one that's just there for the duration. I could be wrong. And it really crossed my ass when we got nonsense kind of crap out. Well, now it's ringing. Hello? Mary had a little lamb. Its ass was white as snow. Get out of here. David Miami Springs says, I just want to second your opinion that Henry Fraud is a total creep. Hard to believe, but he was the sex health education teacher when I was going to Miami Springs High School many years ago. Maybe that accounts for his confusion. It says he's
he's an asshole.
Yeah, goes on and on about that. Yeah, he is. Oh, yeah, well, they had earned time, earned credits. Yeah, that's okay. So just let them haul their ass and go up to Tallahassee with a banjo on their goddamn knee to be professional agitators and leave the kids stranded out there. The most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life. Next to, of course, kids blowing their brains out. Here's Port St. Lucie. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
A couple of questions, one hockey and one politics. Oh, by the way, don't take it so hard. The communication stocks, Clear Channel took a nosedive yesterday, too.
What do you mean don't take what so hard?
Your Beasley stock.
I don't have any Beasley stock. I don't want it.
Oh. Well, I mean, I think radio stock in general is down, so I wouldn't be so hard on your employers.
Okay, whatever you say.
Yeah. Anyways, hey, now that the Gore Bush thing is a done deal, can we turn to the Giuliani and Hillary campaign? And I was just curious, what
can we turn to it? What does that mean?
Well, you should be focusing in on that campaign.
Well, what do you mean I should be focusing in on it? First of all, this isn't we don't do that on this show, number one. And number two, we don't live in New York State, so what difference does it make?
Well,
why would we want to focus in on that?
The Catholics are in uproar up there because Hillary...
Sir, we don't live in New York State. Why do we give a flying crap about Rudy and Hillary? What does that got to do with
our
lives?
a lot of New Yorkers living in this state.
But they live here. What does it have to do with that? I lived in Rochester, too. I was born there. I don't give a crap about New York State politics. What do I care?
Yeah, but Hillary, this is like a national. She's going to be, she could be president in a few years.
No,
you know?
She won't.
Well, but she's
maybe president of Vassar.
The Catholics
president of the Glee Club.
Yeah, but the Catholics are really mad at her because she's leading that parade this weekend, with the gay parade, and they're very, the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of curious, don't you think that's hurting her chances by aligning herself with the gay community?
Why is that?
Well, I mean, she could be alienating.
How about Dianne Feinstein? Didn't she align herself with the gay community in California? Isn't she a member of the U.S. Senate, which is what Hillary aspires to be? And have a nice day. Oh, God. 5670560, pound 560. Do we care about New York politics? No. Do we give a flying crap about that fascist Rudy Giuliani and that bitch Hillary, the ice princess? No. Let's get back to our lives here, okay? Not because somebody else here is from New York. We got a whole bunch of people from New York. Too many, if you ask me. Here's Moral Gables. Hello.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to call it. I'm a supporter of affirmative action. I'm just curious why you're not.
And why is that? Why do you support it?
Well, take a look at your radio station for one thing. You got Goldberg and Rogers, and you got Kaplan. I mean,
Rogers is a Jewish name?
I don't know, but I know you're Jewish. I mean, everyone Probably in your staff's Jewish.
And that's why they were hired.
Hey, huh?
Is the general manager Jewish?
I don't know.
Are the owners Jewish?
Weisberg and Cohen.
Yeah. And what about you, Moron and Moron? Is that your twin brother? Go play with yourself. Okay. Oh, he already is. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. This is what happens when the school bus drivers play hooky and they leave punk kids like this sitting around the house diddling too much, rubbing themselves raw. This is what happens. Here's Davey. Hello.
Hey, Neil Devil, how you doing?
Okay.
Hey, when I was in college, we used to observe a holiday called Old English Slicky Slicky Day, where on February 27th, all the black guys in college would go out and buy a 40 ounce of Old English, and then we stood as many ugly, big-nosed Jewish girls as possible.
Uh-huh.
However, we never got to them all because there were so many.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that holiday? And
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. My Schwartzer friend. And by the way, see you on the bus. You'll be in the back. Here's a mobile in Oakland Park. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Neil. How you doing?
Okay.
Pretty good. One thing I want to talk to you about today is, how do you think that the religion's doing these days?
How do I think what?
The religion.
How do I think the religion is doing these days? I don't know what place are they in.
Well, let me explain.
Did they win last night?
No.
What does that mean, sir? What are these words that are coming? Am I speaking the wrong language today? Is that it?
Uh-huh.
What do you be speaking, sir?
What I be speaking, Neil, is I want to know, how can you believe that there's not a God? Explain, please, sir.
How can you believe that there is one? Take a look around you, sir, at all the slaughter and the misfortune and the misery and the murder and the mayhem and the starving people, and you believe there's a God who permits this to happen?
Where does a tree come from?
Where does a tree come from? The ground. Where does your brain come from? I'll tell you where. Your
rectum.
Get out of here. Oh, I didn't realize it was all Stupid Wednesdays. It's Stupid Wednesday. Oh, that's right, cuz it's Ass Wednesday. God, am I slow. Yeah, it's Ass Wednesday. 567-0560. We got a couple lines working here today, not too many, so don't get carried away. How's that line 4 sounding right about now, huh? Oh, this must be connected with the wheel from Seminole Casino. It's making that sound. Yeah. And line 8 that we appreciate. How's that doing? Wow! Woo! Okay. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Well, it was shipped on Friday. It was shipped yesterday. It's coming. The engineer, he ain't here anyway. And bada-bada-bada-bada-ba, yada-da-da-da-da-da-da. We're broadcasters. And go buy the stock. You buy stock from a company that operates like this, you got to have a lobotomy, baby. I'd go out and buy that Boston Chicken Schmidt stock before I'd buy this. And what's that, down to about 15 cents, something like that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'd go out and buy about 4 pounds of chicken and a big fat old watermelon before I'd buy any of this goddamn stock. Yeah, but you don't understand. It's on the way. It's coming in. You're just impatient, guy. It's only been 2.5 years. What's wrong with you, man? By the way, did you notice out in the hallway? Is there any painting going on?
No.
Anybody here putting any more of the ceiling tiles up?
No.
Is the stuff still sticking down from the ceiling?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I rest my case. It's 10:56 at 560 WQAM. Oh!
Let me tell you about a way you can fix your prostate. It's a lot of fun, but time to stay. This is not the way. How it started, I don't know, but according to Christopher Lowe, ain't nothing like a moist brown hoe. This is the right way. This is thing. Everybody says it's great. Yeah, this is the right way. Lean forward. Red, white. White is out. Watch the movie. Move the tubing. Rusted lamb. Yeah, this is the night away. Fisting is the latest thing, but get the pills for Vaseline. Ooh, man, those hemorrhoids can bleed. This is the night away. It's something people seem to like. Who knows, you may even find Pretty White and Henry's hide. This is the night away. Yeah, fisting. Everybody lubricate. Yeah, fisting. Yeah, this is the night. Let's spin the wire. Lean forward. Spread wide. Right in. Right out. Watch the movie.
What do you think Katie Couric thinks about that? It's 11:03 at 560 WQAM. So we're not getting any information about this thing with Ash Wednesday, and you want to know why? Because they don't know, because they didn't make up the rules. And now you want to know why America is so fat? Fasting is defined as one full meal and 2 light meals during the day. So if that's fasting, imagine what picking out might be. Huh? Yeah, that's the Catholic Church. That's the new deal for fasting on these holidays like today, Ash Wednesday. So don't eat more than 4 or 5 pounds of food today, please, or you'll piss off the Pope. And you know what happens when he gets pissed. Oh, speaking of that, so during the bit that I'm playing there, if you heard that loud, like that, the reason being that this line, which maybe it's written, it just popped on spontaneously because it's the famous line 8. You appreciate line 8. Thank you. Every single day, we go through the same exact thing. Duff Lindsay sticks his head in the doorway, and he's going blah, 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 like that. Every single day we go through the same thing, and you wonder why people just get to the point of apoplexy, and they just become puzzled, like yours truly, as to how long this can pass as the way of doing business here.
There are 3 big boxes from Telos downstairs.
You know something? Forget about throw the stuff out from the boxes. I'll tell you who to put in the 3 boxes, okay? One of them, his name is... Yeah. Put Screw in another one, and then we'll take a vote on who's going in the 3rd box. Yeah, it's Ash Wednesday, so what's wrong with that? Asshole in a box. What's wrong with that? How's line 8 doing, by the way? Sounds like one of Mickey's cruise ships. Lost at sea. Oh, and speaking of Mickey's cruise ships, I noticed yesterday, I don't want to mention the name of my good fat friend who works in the afternoon between 2 and 6, the humper. I don't want to mention him by name, but sounds to me like he's wavering on this thing. And he's right. It was his idea. I heard him weeks ago on the air. I was driving home one day, and he was suggesting, well, you know, maybe they can put a tax on the cruise ships, and they don't pay any taxes anyway, and stick it to Mickey, et cetera, and so on. And then Hank yesterday was repeating that. It was his idea, which he's right, and telling us, well, Dave Hyde had a real good column on Sunday. Dave Hyde did not have a real good column. Dave Hyde had a grotesque, unacceptable, ass-sucking column. And even though Hank said, well, you know, I don't know if this is the best way to spend the money, he's kind of like wavering. Just because it was your idea, Fatso, don't get sucked in here by that moron John Henry. You know better than that. We don't need another goddamn multi-million-dollar empty venue here in this town. Every street corner. And like I said, these people don't care about their kids getting left out of school yesterday, wandering around, missing their test, stranded. They don't care. Any place else civilized, people would be up in arms. They'd be marching. Talk about protest. They'd be marching right now in the goddamn Dade County School Board, demanding Henry Fraud and these asshole teachers be fired immediately, if not sooner. Did I see teachers, school bus drivers, whatever the hell they are, assholes, since it is Ash Wednesday. But they won't do it. They'll just sit back and grumble a little bit. Well, we're not too happy about it, and yeah. Here's North Miami. Hello.
Yes, good morning, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I've been...
Oh, now this line's all screwed up, yeah?
Yes, I've been listening to your show for a while, and I've been trying to figure out whether your show is an educational program.
No, it's entertainment, sir.
It's entertainment.
Yes.
But at times you tend to blur the line between education and entertainment.
No.
For instance, the reason I'm asking is because your support of Governor Bush's One Florida plan. Have you read his plan?
What are you talking about, sir?
The Governor Bush's
One
Florida plan. Have you read it?
Yes.
You've read it in
its entirety, from cover to cover. No.
And, well,
have you read it?
Yes, sir.
And?
When I read this plan, he points out some of the glaring problem with
Sir, I just got through telling it's an entertainment show. You're putting me to sleep.
I'm sorry.
This isn't entertaining. This is terminal.
No, yes, it is terminal. But,
sir, you can talk from now until the end of time. I am opposed vehemently and absolutely positively to affirmative action. I'm opposed to quotas. I'm opposed to any kind of a program for education, for jobs, for anything that gives favoritism to people because of the color of their skin, their religion, their gender, anything.
Now, this is unusual coming from someone who comes from a culture that had to change his name to be able to...
No, I didn't have to change my name.
Change his name to be able to assimilate.
No, sir, let me say it again. I didn't have to change my name.
You didn't?
No. I changed it because my real name is Tool. My real name doesn't sound Jewish. And if I was afraid of people knowing that I was Jewish, how come I talk Yiddish on the air, my dark-complected friend?
Well, now
what are you talking about?
Well, now it's
yeah, my grandparents, they changed their name from Udalevitz to Solomon. That was a good cover-up, wasn't it? Yeah, Solomon.
But Neil, to be able to assimilate into this...
Sir, you've had 30 years of a lot of people, including these asshole bus drivers yesterday, getting jobs even though they weren't qualified, and the time to say no more to that. You can't wait forever. You can't keep punishing people who had nothing to do with the discrimination forever, and that's the name of the game. Goodbye. Bye-bye. No. I'm absolutely, positively, 145% opposed to affirmative action. It ends now. Get an education, just like you're talking about people who had to change their name, but you know something? They still got the jobs because they were qualified, because they could go in there and they could compete. So change the color of your skin and go in there and compete. Get an education, get a brain, get the chip off your shoulder, and let's start competing based on equal footing. And if you're afraid that America isn't the kind of place where you can do that, well, I guess maybe you'll have to find some place where you can. That's all I can tell you. It's worked for every other minority group, the Italians, the Cubans, the Jews, the fags, everybody else has somehow managed to succeed. Get an education, get a brain. I mean, maybe we didn't eat as much fried chicken, but somehow we managed to squeak our way through. We prefer our chicken a little blander, boiled. A boiled chicken. That's the way the Jews like it.
Oi!
Tasteless. Like this program. 5670560. What is he telling you? What is he hawking you with, Tronic? About that telos. Tell us something that we don't know, okay? And by the way, if the engineer ever came back to work, maybe we get something installed in here too, although I doubt it. Seeing the great job he's done with this in-house phone system. Maybe if we got a real engineer in here for a couple of days, even if somebody had to pay him out of their own pocket maybe, till we sell some more of that bogus stock. Oh, I realize we're getting really out of control now. He wants a phone system and a real engineer. This son of a bitch is getting out of control. 9 minutes after 11 at 560 WQM.
Go to WQAM.com for all your cyber needs.
They have the internet on computers now.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
I killed Nicole.
Friday night on Fox, it's the WGW Championship. In the Iron Balls Liechtenstein versus Christopher the Crusher Lowell.
I'm more than you, Crusher. When I get you in the ring, I'm going to ram my unlubricated phone up your tube, wrap my arms around your waist, and slap you in the belly.
See? You're a breeder. Do what you must, but I'm going to slay you with show tunes. Just watch. I've got my red sequin gown on, and when you hear me sing like Tommy Tune, Daddy, don't you understand? I'm distant from all the other boys. That's why I don't play catch with you anymore.
The Fox World Gay Wrestling Championship. Cost-effective programming for sport hole junkies like you.
It's 11:15 at 560 WQM. And speaking of wrestling, let me just mention again that Connecticut wrestlers charged in hazing high school story yesterday. And I mentioned it to George this morning before the show. Why should we be surprised that on a high school wrestling team, of all teams, of all the so-called sports and endeavors, why should we be surprised that they're doing all these hazing things in the shower and grabbing each other's
That's a gay club, you moron.
parts, etc.? Are we surprised?
No.
For my dark-complected friend that just called a few minutes ago, and he sounded like a nice guy, but then wants to know what the show is all about, and I tried to tell him it's for entertainment, and then he starts, that wasn't entertaining. You're not entertaining. What you're trying to do is twist my arm and convince me, and you're not going to convince me. I'm not going to convince you. You want us to continue, playing favorites with certain kind of people, including your own, forever and ever, because your skin color is never going to change. I can change my name. I can pretend I can go out and get a fake wife. I can have a beard or even grow one, but you're always going to be black. And the fact is that black people can't wait until the end of time until they decide they're going to go out there and get an education and compete on equal footing. That's just the way it's going to have to be, sir. Affirmative action is all over with now. You can sit in the front of the bus, in the back of the bus. I can sit in the front, in the back, and I come in here as an out-of-the-closet Jew, fag, old fart, and doing pretty well. In spite of those things. Here's West Palm Beach. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Good morning, Mr. Wright.
Good evening.
Yes, I'd like to make a slight observation in regards to your slight loading for the FCC and mine as well. It turns out that here in the Palm Beach Post, our TV book has a complete listing of all AM and FM radio stations regarding talk, variety, music, and so forth.
Yeah.
And it turns out that this one radio station, WHLG 101.3,
yes,
plays something called Adult Mix. So last night I tuned into it, and it turns out that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
yes,
they play uncensored, uncut versions of hip-hop and R&B singles.
Yeah.
And the radio talks and the hostess at that time spews all this profanity, and the callers come in.
This is a licensed commercial station?
Pretty much.
Well, what do you mean pretty much? Either it is or it isn't. It's like Pretty Much Pregnant. Is it a commercial license station or is this a pirate station?
It's I never heard any. It's pretty much on here. It says it's a licensed radio station.
How do you know that?
I don't, but I don't know. I don't know if it's a pirate station.
Well, how can they be doing that?
I have no idea.
The only way they could do that is if it's a pirate station.
Probably, but all I know is that they're playing all this profanity and whatnot.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. Okay. 5670560. What do you say it was? 101.5. Okay, as soon as we get out of here. And what's the out-of-town line number, Neil? Glad you asked. 877-785. Let's hear line 8 again, just to get that sound out.
I love that sound. Oh, man, I get goosebumps. Woo! Right under my gonads and start itching and twitching as soon as I hear this sound. I get really emotionally spent.
Hey, it's Beasley Broadcasting of BBGI, Rhymes with Pie. If you're impressed by the sound of this radio station and the professional equipment we have to do the Neil Rogers Show, I get on the phone with my broker right now at bye, what is it? I. BBG.
Thank you.
5670560, pound 560 on the TT line. And the outside line is dead. 877-785-6345. These people are sure whipped up about those school bus drivers who went off to Tallahassee yesterday, aren't they?
No.
They couldn't give a crap less. They don't care. Nothing phases them. Like the guy said in the facts, all they care about is Danny Boy. That's our poll question, by the way. Tomorrow's poll is going to be about affirmative action. Don't let me forget about that. I'm sure we can't forget about it because as soon as I mentioned it, he's already got it written on his palm of his hand or something. Yeah, tomorrow we'll do a poll, and we'll see just how many people out there are in favor of affirmative action still. But today's poll is about Dan Marino, Danny Boy. Oh, Danny Boy, just go away. Don't go away mad, Danny. Just go away. Should Dan Marino retire? Should he play another year for the Dolphins? They don't want you. Or should he sign with the Vikings? Those are your three choices on our poll on our website, neilrogers.com today, which I'd like to get 1,000 votes on this. We sure ought to, you know what? I mean, since this is the most pressing issue in a goddamn town. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir?
Oh, I just want to know what your opinion on the presidential candidate race. Who's going to win?
On their race, they're both white. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I want to know exactly where's the problem with the bus drivers going to Tallahassee?
The problem is that they left without making sure that there were replacement drivers, and kids who had exams, who had to get to school, and kids who didn't have somebody to ride got stranded all day. There were kids who were sitting on the curb at 6:30 last night outside their school in Dade County. Well, that is my problem, sir. Am I wrong about that?
Well, sir, were you informed that schools informed the parents beforehand that
schools put it on radio and television, and if the parents didn't happen to hear it, the parents didn't know about it.
Well, sir, my point to you is, I'm not debating affirmative action with you,
This has to do with people who've got a job. This has got to do with people who have a job, and when it's their responsibility to take care of kids and protect their safety and get them to school and home on time, that's got to come first. Barring a medical emergency or a family emergency, going off to protest up in Tallahassee, that comes way down the list, sir.
You're equating to this like they're protesting dogs' rights. They're not
Sir, let me say this to you. Don't those people who are protesting, don't they already have a job?
Excuse me, sir. They want the right to have a better job.
Really?
On equal footing.
Well, you know something? I got a great idea. Let's fire their ass right now and let them go out there and compete for a better job. That's a great idea. Thank you. Thanks for the suggestion. I got news for you. The people I see driving those school buses, they're lucky to have any job. Get serious. Whining and we want this, we want that. You know what we want? We want people to do their job. We want competent people, sick and tired. I'll give you an example. Classic example. When we worked for Paxson, there was a dark-complected lady who worked there. I won't mention her name on the air. I had the displeasure of working with her years ago on another radio station in this town. I'm not going to say what position she was in other than prone. And this particular lady, and I use that term loosely, was a belligerent, militant bitch. And who was totally incompetent. In fact, George had to do half of her job all over every day because she couldn't get it right. And that company was terrified to fire her ass. Remember the one time they came and told me they hired somebody else, and you know what? They lied. Because she kept threatening to sue them. And why would she sue them? Because she was a minority. Which means in her mind, she had a job there forever. No matter how obnoxious she was, no matter how incompetent she was, and believe me, incompetent would have been a compliment, but she had a job for life. And I got news for you. When it starts affecting the service and affecting the quality of all of our lives, sensible people are just going to say, no more of this crap. Equal footing means equal ability. That's what equal footing means. Get an education. Barbara Jordan got an education. Julian Bond got an education. What's his name up there in Michigan? John Conyers. He got an education. Lots of very bright black folks went out there and got an education, made the best of what opportunity they had. And look where they got. I say forget about the NBA, crack some goddamn school books, and get an education and get ahead, or just get some head. If you think you're going to, I'll listen to you. I'll listen to you if you want to be reasonable. From now till the end of time, you can go on and on and on. It's not going to change my mind. I approach most things with an open mind, but on this one, my position is final, intractable, immovable. That's it. The answer is absolutely no to affirmative action. That's my opinion. Period. I've seen too much of it. I've worked around too much of it. I've worked with people who are just totally incompetent. I encounter it everywhere where you go shopping, where you go for service, anything. You encounter it all over the place. You go into a doctor's office where your health, people's lives are on the line in a doctor's office, and there are people who are there for obvious reasons, who are making good money, by the way, who are totally, eminently unqualified to be filling those jobs. Go into a hospital. Ever been in a hospital? Go into a hospital and see some of those people that are working in those jobs, with people's lives on the line, with people getting the right medication or not on the line. You're crying. You're barking up the wrong tree, sweetheart. You're whining in the wrong ear because I'm not listening. Not interested. Here's a mobile in Pompano. Hello.
Yeah, affirmative action is for slackers, and it's killing our Panthers. Get rid of that frog.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Kendall. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir?
Let me tell you something. Affirmative action, what Jeb Bush is doing, it's the only thing that he's doing right.
Yeah.
And let me ask you something. You know how the blacks did yesterday with the kids and screwed up their schedules and the tests and all that?
Yes.
What event do you think was worse, the blacks basically doing that to the buses or the Cubans blocking the trucks?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
That could be a good poll question, you know.
Okay, good. Well, take it, stick your poll on it and see whether it pops up or not, okay? It popped up. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT. Yeah, which was worse, the chicken or the egg? Which one tastes better, the watermelon seed or the rind? Wow, this is some crowd again today. How's line 4 doing, by the way? I don't want to leave them on. Oh, look at that. It's not making a peep. It's not making a sound.
I told him to put it on hold over there.
Oh, but how about line 8?
All right, there you go.
There we go. Just checking. Just want to make sure, okay? Because once you hear that sound, then you know exactly what you'll be listening to. WQAM and the Neil Rogers Show. 26 past 11 at 560 QM.
I took a call from Ebonics. They said the future be bright for me. Now I can't get no job, 'cause I don't got no literacy. I was talking like an old Negro. Ebonics taught me how this way. Now I can't do nothing, but my heritage say that's okay. Change my name to Shoot Roll. Drive a deuce and a quarter in a Cadillac. I remember when I was stealing all the white man's cars, hanging outside the Belvedere bar, crying the blues about poverty. White devils got no job for me, and I thought Ebonics would give my life a change. Now I got to go and sell more crack cocaine, crack cocaine, crack cocaine, crack cocaine, crack cocaine, crack cocaine, crack cocaine. Crack cocaine, crack cocaine. Lordy, what a boring song. Ebonics makes me sound funny. Got nothing to do with literacy. Now I got to make more money. Labor food sounds good to me. I got plenty of nothing. Ebonics ain't getting me anywhere. Maybe I'll mug an old white bitch, steal a purse and full of hair. Then I'm gonna take some money, buy a stereo and a Frigidaire. I remember when I was stealing all the white man's cars, hanging outside the Belvedere bar, crying the blues out poverty. White devils got no job for me, and I thought Ebonics would give my life a change. Now got to go and sell more crack cocaine, 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 crack cocaine.
11:32 at 560 WQM. We got the Hank Goldberg Show at Shula Steak 2 at 2 o'clock. The big boogster, Boog Shambi. Not as big as he used to be, thank God. He'll be here at 6. Eddie K. rhymes with GA. He'll be here at 10 o'clock tonight. That's our agenda. Our poll question, I told you we'll get 1,000 votes before the show starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow. That's my goal. Get everybody on the poll on this one, because everybody's talking about it. That's what I heard Bifo say this morning. Are we talking about it? No. Should Dan Marino retire? So we got 115 votes total so far, which is pretty damn good because we only gave this thing about 20 to 11. 68 say he should retire. Bye-bye, Danny. We'll pack your salami sandwich. We'll get you some lip balm for those big lips of yours, and have a great life. Thanks for everything, Danny. We really enjoyed you. We appreciated your efforts. You're an old fuddy-duddy. You're as mobile as the Statue of Liberty. Bye-bye. 68 said he should retire. That's 59.1%. 35 said he should sign with the Vikings, 30%. And only 9.5% said he should play another year with the Dolphins. They don't want him. Oh, I'm sorry. How do you like that? That's amazing. Also, here's a note from Eric on this tabulation sheet here. It says, the stock is nosediving, not due to Neil Rogers, but due to the analyst. See the next fax. And I can hear the next fax printing in the background there, and I'm getting goosebumps. Just waiting for that thing to come sliding through in the fax too, so I can reach behind me there and grab that sheet. Just reach behind you and grab the sheet. Oh, you ought to be grabbing a sheet. You're probably a Klan maybe, huh? Right. See, as long as you're not for affirmative action, you must be a racist, a bigot. And didn't I already say last week I was a racist?
Uh-huh.
So what's wrong with that? At least it fits right in. At least I'm being consistent. What's wrong with everybody? The guy, on the one hand, he's saying equal footing, but on the other hand, but he's got to have priority because he's dark. How about Malcolm on The Young and the Horny, huh? Did he get the job even though he's black?
No.
Yeah. What is it? Oh, because he looks good.
Oh, I saw him on Soul Train, by the way.
Oh.
Shucking and jiving.
I'd like to see him shucking it and jiving it. And jamming it. Jam on it. Here's a lady in Davie. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you doing?
Okay.
I'd like to speak to you about this whole thing with the bus drivers.
Yes?
I think it's absolutely...
What's wrong with this phone? This phone is just a mess.
I know. You're sounding very strange. I think the whole thing is ridiculous. What would happen if one of these kids was, like, abducted?
Right.
Waiting for this bus driver to come pick them up?
Right, or got into some serious trouble because they were hanging around there on a street corner and got shot, God forbid, or some horrendous thing happened.
But is it going to be the parents' fault because they put it on the news that the bus drivers weren't going to be there?
That's pathetic.
I mean...
What a lame excuse that was.
I mean, I'm waiting. I'm just counting the days so I can get out of this rat hole.
Yeah.
I mean, this place is the worst. And do you think I could find it anywhere in the Miami Herald this morning?
And they're talking about they want to tax the cruise ship passengers now $4 a day so they can raise money not to improve the school situation here, not to hire more bus drivers, not more textbooks, but so they can build another stadium that can sit there half empty all the time.
Please.
For a guy that's a billionaire.
Please.
Crazy people.
Crazy. Can't wait to get out of here, Neil.
Good luck, sweetheart.
Thanks.
Take me with you.
I will.
Just like they said in Fatso, take me with you, Sal. Take me with you. Why does that keep coming to my mind lately, huh? Take me with you. Anywhere you're going, just take me. We're going to Bangladesh. We're going to Calcutta. Okay, I'll give it a shot. We got a shot. Get out of here. Boy, this whole phone thing, I think it's the overhead, too. Is there something changed with the overhead level? Because I have to there must be, because I got my thing cranked way up in here. Yesterday and today. But, boy, once we get those things out of the boxes downstairs, I got the answer. We got Screw Ann in one box, Greg Reed in the other box, and George Corso in the third box. Oh! That sounds good to me. I know it's a revolutionary concept, but didn't I say a long time ago, you make a project out of this. Like, we're going to get this done. We're going to get the new equipment in here. We're going to bring in 2 or 3 part-time real engineers, get everybody's heads together who knows what they're doing, and get it all, instead of dragging on. I'm sure that I'm not the only one. I'm sure we got a lot of people in the audience who are really just fed up hearing every day this whole thing with this crap here that we got. Okay. Whoa. Well, that's not taking that much of a dive. What's he talking about? What are you getting all nervous about, Eric? Not that bad. Let's see. Last trade, 11:02 a.m. Beasley was down to 12.5. That's down 3/8. And there's no surprise because the Nasdaq's down 65 points. It's a Nasdaq stock. So why should that be any big surprise? Plus, Alan Greenspan opened up his big mouth again today, made another speech. And every time he opens up his mouth, market takes another crap. Although the Dow is up 57 for those who can't get near the TV right at the moment. There's some good news for you. So it's only down about 75,000 points in the last month and a half. Don't get nervous. It's only money. You ever seen that spot where the guy's, what the hell is it? It's for one of these investment firms. My favorite one is the one for the, where she's doing the, with the guru in there and they're like doing all the seance or whatever they're doing. But this is the one where the guy's jogging on the beach with his wife. And he says, boy, and the good thing that we don't worry about things. I invested all our money in some fly-by-night stock instead of hiring and we lost all of our money. And he's smiling and laughing. She says, well, what are we going to live on? He says, there's the fresh air and the sunshine. What else do you need? It's only money. He says, money is highly overrated.
Only $50.
21 before noon at 560 WQAM.
Floridians, dumb as dirt.
Yes.
The Republican Party, they are still behind George W. But while you were fighting for our country, he was doing a line or two. 6.5 years of your life, you were POW.
Boy.
And all the while your wife stole prescriptions, wife stole prescriptions. Christians and John McCain. I bet you think that we will vote for you, John McCain. You are still better than George W. Aren't you?
16 at 560 WQM. So CNN reports that two McCain senior advisors have informed them that probably as early as tomorrow McCain will drop out. He'll just say no to any more of this madness. Bradley is already dropping out today. So it's Gore and Bush, Bush and Gore. That's what you got. Like Jimmy and Danny, Al and George W. 5670560 pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. As we continue rolling along. And by the way, this line is insistent. It wants on the air. If you notice during the end of that spot we had for the macaroni grill, that this just popped on by itself again here. Line 8. Yeah, it wants on. By Dr. Mike Cook, it wants on. It is permanently acting itself. It wants on the air. Whether I push it out or not, it just pops right back on there. You keep pushing it down, it keeps popping right back up. You can relate to that. You hope. Here's a call in Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a lot to say, but you probably gonna cut me off.
Probably.
Anyway, affirmative action, man. What's wrong with black people finally getting some benefits or something? Affirmative action. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, what do you mean finally getting some benefits? How long do you expect? What year should we cut it off? What's the cutoff date?
Well, okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are the Jews not getting benefits from what happened in the Holocaust?
No.
Yeah, right. The Indians.
No, sir, let me ask you this. What do you mean by benefits? Do Jews get hired because there were Jews killed in the Holocaust?
So what's wrong if they...
No, sir, you brought that up out of left field. I have no idea what that has to do with anything, with your comparative suffering lesson here. But what Jews get hired because of what happened during the Holocaust? Can you name me any Jews who get hired because they're Jewish?
I can name you... Yeah, I can name you Jews. How did you get on a radio station?
What is it?
How did you get on a radio station?
Because I was Jewish.
Because you're a white guy, you're a white Jew.
Yeah.
And it's easier for you than a black guy, and I probably have the same mental capacity as you do.
That's correct.
But you'll never know that.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of incompetent white people in the hospitals killing black people, killing white people, just the same as those incompetent black people.
Let me answer this question. How did Roy Foster get hired to be a salesman on this radio station?
That's Roy Foster's business.
Oh.
What about the Indians?
Well, how about it's his business, but how you claim I got hired, that's your business. Is that what you're saying, sir? So like a lot of you folks, you got a double set of standards.
No, that's not. That's not true.
Jews don't get hired because they're Jewish. There are no quotas for hiring Jews.
Neil Rogers.
How about gays? Do gay people get hired because they're fags?
Neil Rogers.
Sir, I'm asking you a question.
What do you mean do they get hired because they're fags? No,
they
don't get hired because they're fags.
Well, why not?
That's common sense.
Oh, it's common sense?
It's common sense not to hire a fag just because he's a fag.
Well, why is that? Suppose he wants to be a hairdresser. What's wrong with that?
That's his business.
How about an interior decorator?
If he deserves it, he'll get it.
Okay, well, if you deserve it, you're going to get it too. 5670560.
I think he deserves it.
Yeah, he's going to get it. Pound 560 on the AT&T line. And on the out-of-town line, 877-785. Isn't it interesting now? All of a sudden, these people who ordinarily we don't hear from, it's just like with our Cuban friends out there. 80 billion of them are listening. And when we had the alien thing here going crazy, all that crap going on, you know what I'm talking about. Instead of just being like plain old ordinary folks, all of us, like I keep preaching all the time, IDNH, do no harm, and just be a human being, not some goddamn hyphenated whatever. Forget about that crap. Just be a person. Get you a brain and go out there and get a job that you can do. I got hired because I'm Jewish. Give me, oh, God. No, I got hired because I'm a faggot, because I'm fat, because I'm old, because I'm a fag, because I'm ugly. That's why I got hired. Now, what's your excuse, sir? Got all those great things going for me. This overhead, that's where the problem is with a lot of this stuff today. This is all effed up. Maybe our engineer will come back someday. What do you think?
No.
Huh? That's a great line. Oh, well, he wasn't here yesterday, and he wasn't here on Monday, and he wasn't here last Friday, and he's on a busman's holiday. Maybe he's driving a bus to Tallahassee. What do you think?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Here's Coral Gables. Hello.
Oh, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask George how he feels on the affirmative action?
Yeah, when he does the show. He's not doing a show today.
Well, you are clear then, huh?
What
Get rid of it.
Well, I just asked him because George is more sensitive.
George is more sensitive? He's also against it.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know.
Okay, well, there's your answer, sir. I just wanted to know. He's more sensitive.
I did a whole show on it.
He's the most insensitive little spick I ever saw in my life. Sensitive. Of course, I never touched him, so I'm not really sure, and I don't want to 5670560, pound 560. Oh, that foreskin we hear makes you more sensitive. Is that what he's talking about?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, foreskin. I got your foreskin over here, pal. Get back on a banana boat. Here's a mobile in Pompano. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling regarding the affirmative action issue.
What issue? There's no issue. It's history. It's done.
Yeah, well, maybe not. You know,
Done. It's all over.
Let me share a few ideas and let's go from there. Okay. Affirmative action. You know, people talk it. They talk what should be, but walking it is something else. Okay.
What does that mean?
I'll tell you what that means. For me now, I'm talking for me, naturally, my opinion. It's my opinion that down here in Florida, in the southern states, and I'm talking about employment now, it's a right to work state. Now, what does right to work mean? Okay. I think that affirmative action or a form
and
of...
by the way, Jason, if you don't stop faxing me the same crap over and over again, I'm going to take the stuff off the internet. Cut the crap, Jason. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it's sort of a check and balance against the right to work state, and I've seen it in my 60 years on this earth, and I'm from the north, and I understand, okay?
Yeah.
And not to say, okay, that I know everything, which I don't. I love your show.
Well, what are you
controversial.
What are you trying to say? I don't know what you're saying.
Let me be. You know, I worked for 30 years in Detroit area.
Yeah.
Detroit and Chicago.
Well, that used to be a great city until they burned it down. But anyway.
Of course, in '68 they burned the city.
67, yes, I know that.
Whatever it was, 67, 68. And in the early '60s, in '61, I tried to move to Grosse Pointe, and I couldn't get in. You know why? They had a point system. My name ended with an O. My parents were from Italy, okay?
Yeah.
And if you were black, if you were Jewish, if you were a person of color, if you were swarty, where the Italians came in, you couldn't get in.
Yeah.
So I made a point that I was going to live in that damn city. And 10 years later, I bought in. I wasn't an Anglo-Saxon.
So what does that have to do with affirmative action?
Well, here's what it has to do with it. I got transferred down here 11 years ago to Tampa, okay? And I saw right away, immediately, the different mentality between owners of companies and even corporate companies that are located down here.
Yeah.
Is the way they treat employees. It's a different ballgame.
Yes.
Right to work.
It's called a way of doing business. It sucks in the South. That's correct, especially in Florida.
Sucks.
That is right.
It's terrible.
So I'm still going to ask you for the third and last time, what does that have to do with affirmative action?
Well, affirmative action gives people some rights, don't they? People of color.
Yeah, and what about other people? No, what it doesn't. It doesn't give them rights. It gives them preferential treatment, even if they're not qualified. I just got through telling you stories about specific individuals, one in particular. I could give you dozens of stories like that.
Well, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. But the way I understand affirmative action, it's not just people of color. There's also male, female issues.
Yeah.
I mean, it covers a wide spectrum.
How many men do you know get hired because of affirmative action?
How many what?
Men. You said male. How many men get hired because there's a quota for men?
Obviously, it's one-sided that
How many Jews get hired because there's a quota for
Well,
Jews?
of course, that doesn't happen that way.
I just got told 5 minutes ago here that I got hired because I was Jewish.
Well, I heard that, and that's ludicrous, okay? And I understand that. But on the other point, on the other side of the issue, all it is a reminder to the employer to say, look, if in fact you don't do it right, you're violating some kind of right, some kind of law. And it keeps people in a little bit of a balance. And it doesn't always work. People will talk the talk, but let me tell you, a lot of people don't walk it, and I know that, okay? They say, I'm not prejudiced. That's a lot of baloney.
Well, I am.
I understand, and so am I.
Yeah, well, and have a nice day. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Didn't I give him ample opportunity, I think? Yeah, more than ample. Anybody know what he's saying?
No.
Here's a mobile in Yeehaw Junction. Hello. Mobile in Yeehaw Junction.
Yeah, Neil, how are you?
Okay.
Can you hear my phone okay?
I hear you fine.
All right, enjoy your show.
Your phone's not the problem, sir. Our phone is the problem. But anyway.
Okay, about affirmative action.
Yes.
About 20 years ago, I applied for a job at a major trucking company.
Yeah.
And I had a date to go down and take a test, a written test and a road test. There was a man of color there, too, doing the same thing.
Right.
I outscored him on the written test, the road test, and I got the job. This was about This has been 20 years ago. It's about a $60,000 a year job.
Right.
They told me to report Monday morning to get my physical and everything.
Yeah.
They called me that Saturday. That was on a Friday. I took the test. They called me back on a Saturday and told me they couldn't hire me because they had to have so many blacks on the payroll.
Right.
So I lost the job.
How do you like that?
And I outscored them on everything.
Uh-huh.
I think it sucked to me to
It
do
does
away
suck.
with it.
This crap stops right now.
I'm with you.
Amen. Good luck, pal.
All right, Neil.
Good
Bye.
luck. If you're qualified, the idea, the notion that anybody else should get some job or some opportunity ahead of you is so unacceptable and so grotesque and so uneffing American, I'll tell you right now, it's unacceptable. Just on and on. Well, there's people who are prejudiced. Let me say it again. There are people prejudiced against Jews, against gays, against all kinds of people. And you know something? We still somehow manage to squeak our way through. And aren't looking for any special favors. Equal treatment, yes. Special favors, no. And I think that we got some people in this country who've been getting a goddamn handout for too long based on stuff that happened 50 years ago and 100 years ago and 200 years ago, long before they were even a goddamn idea, much less born. It's called a crutch. Something we saw a lot of a week ago Saturday. It's a crutch. If you can compete to get into school, if you can compete with somebody to get a job, great. If you can get like the guy says, beat somebody on a test, get a higher score, great, you should be hired. And if you can't, too bad. 4 minutes before noon at 560 WQAM.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Sports Radio 560 WQAM. Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Banana picking Julios who thrive on anarchy are building an arena for the Miami Heat. Having two arenas somehow don't seem right. Better ask Jeff Bowen for financial advice. NBA is locked down. There's no basketball. They're all on strike. Let's burn the place down. An insurance check would sure be nice. Before we lose our ads, take that can of gas. Like that,
Trouble 1 at 560 WQAM. All you Jews out there, I sure hope you appreciate the fact that you're getting these special benefits because of the horrors of the Holocaust and all these thousands of years of persecution and discrimination. Are you getting any benefit?
No.
That was a brilliant call. And you notice every time we get into a discussion that has anything to do with these kind of topics, it's always comparative misery. Oh, well, the Jews this, and the Cubans that, and the Schwarzers this. You know what my response to that is? That's it. That's all I have to say about that. Crap. Here's a mobile in Fort Myers. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I agree with you 100% on
course.
that issue. That one caller there, you didn't get hired because you knew what you was doing and you was exceptional. You got hired because you was Jew.
Exactly. Isn't that amazing?
You got hired because you were qualified.
Because I'm a genius. That's right.
They can't.
Because I can talk circles around his stupid ass. That's correct.
Exactly.
If he could do the same show that I'm doing right now, if he was articulate, if he had a wit, if he had a half a brain, he'd be doing a show right here now, whether he's black or purple.
Most definitely. Keep up the good work, Neil. That caller's a Schmidthead.
A Schmidthead. Thank you, sir.
Adios.
God bless you. And happy Ass Wednesday, too, while you're at it. Happy Ass Wednesday to everybody out there in the audience. Or is it or maybe it's like Yom Kippur. And, of course, yeah, we screwed up bad. Didn't bring in no ashes to smear on your forehead today. What the hell's wrong with you?
I got a cigar over here.
Yeah, but you can't light that up in here because it's a non-smoking building, and we don't want to start lighting. I have smoke in here because it might get in our equipment and screw it up. How's line 8 doing, by the way? I love it. I got news for you. There isn't one other show in America, AM, FM, PM, shortwave, that gives you sounds like we do on this show. I'll tell you that. Man. Yeah, I'm reading this article. It is in the Herald, by the way, for the lady called before, but you really have to scour. It's way down, way down yonder in New Orleans. An article by Robert Sanchez. And it says one Florida protester strands students. And they were surprised. They were shocked. They didn't anticipate 573 since they only have 240 substitutes available. They were shocked. So they didn't really have any idea till the very last minute how many were going to show up. So basically, this is the way they run your school system in Dade County. Whenever these people who, and by the way, the district would have preferred more notice, but school employees who wish to take personal leave don't have to apply in advance as they do for vacation time or to justify their absence as they do for sick leave. So if they feel like, oh, well, guess what, in about 5 minutes, I'm going to go up, get pissed off somewhere and protest, then your kids are out of luck. That's how much they care about your kids in the Dade County school system. Dr. Henry Fraud should be fired right now. Right this minute. Go get him a goddamn new weave. Piece of crap, jerk, jackass. He's an asshole. Idiot. Can't complain about the education in Dade County because generally speaking there isn't any. Shame on you. Here's a mobile in the Gables. Hello.
Neil.
Wonder what he looks like without that hairpiece. Yes, sir.
What's up, Neil? This whole affirmative action thing, there's a couple of words for that. Self-confidence and self-esteem. All these people that are fighting for it, they're just telling the whole world that they don't have self-confidence and self-esteem in themselves.
What they're saying is that they can't compete. That's what they're saying. They cannot compete.
And you know what? I have a lot of black friends, and I was surprised that most of them are against it, just as, you know. And also, the bus drivers, if all those people were qualified that had the bus driver jobs, they wouldn't have gone to the protest. Obviously, those people have benefited from affirmative action.
Exactly. No question about it. They got that's why they're pissed off.
Exactly.
They're afraid they're not going to be able to keep the jobs. That somebody who can really drive a bus is going to get that job.
And I'm not a parent, but for any parents out there, be it black, minorities, anybody benefiting from affirmative action, how would you like somebody getting the job driving their son to school that wasn't as qualified as the other person because he's a minority?
And that's exactly what we've got.
And it obviously goes to show you that we have people driving the buses because they're the ones that are going to protest because they're the ones that benefit from affirmative action.
Right.
So every day a parent puts their son on the school bus, realize that. How many did he say, 300?
573.
573 people. I'd say at least 50% of those people, gained from affirmative action because they were going to protest. So imagine, that's 50% of those people that could have, 50% better qualified people could have been driving.
That is correct. Most of those bus drivers couldn't drive their finger up their ass.
Exactly.
And have a great day.
Thanks a lot, Neil.
And happy Ass Wednesday.
Thanks.
And watch where you rub it. What is it?
Only 340 bus drivers called in sick today to participate.
They're still participating?
Yes.
Jesus
They just
Christ.
had it on the news. All these parents are upset that they're being
great.
late for work because they have to take their kids.
So what do you do with that ash when you get it on your forehead?
Just rub it.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. So they're still crapping away up there. And guess what the threat is, by the way, now? The threat is we're going to have a boycott of citrus.
Oi!
Now, does that include watermelon, do you think?
No.
It's not citrus, is it?
No. But, I mean, it's like in the same family, kind of. Huh? Related, distant relative?
No, I think it's a squash or something.
Watermelon is a squash?
I don't know. It's not
Although
a citrus.
I do like spaghetti squash. Now, if I happen to be a little bit darker, I might like butternut squash. Right? Don't dark-complected folks like butternut squash?
Who are you asking?
Well, I would think you would know that. You got like a lot of dark blood flowing through your vein. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Virginia Key. Hello.
Hi, Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
I have been calling you for 7.5 years, I believe.
Yes.
And of that 7.5 years, I've worked for a government office in this city with no medical benefits or benefits. In '94, I was offered a position by my supervisor. They were trying to write me a position, and the head of the center gave it to a young black girl.
He gave it to a young black girl?
Who had
I
no
hope they didn't
experience.
find out about that.
Had no experience at all working with my supervisor or
Yeah.
experience working on the work that she's involved in. And now, this week, that person left her job, and when they tried to write me into the same position, the management decided to get rid of the position and say that they need the money elsewhere, and they've kept me on without medical insurance, without benefits, without sick leave, without holiday time, and I started working here in March of 1990.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's fair in that. For those of you out there who think it's fair, there's definitely no fairness in that as far as I'm concerned. I am more qualified for the job, and they weren't even willing to write me the job when the job opened up.
Yeah.
So
This is what happens when you pamper and spoil people to try to make up for the sins of the past. And you know what you do is just create more sins and more imbalance and more insanity. You can't do it.
You create more, and you do create more racial friction. It ends up creating more racial friction.
That is right.
And I'm sorry to say that it has slowly affected me, and I hate to even think about that. But I've been beaten over the head, and I'm sorry, but F quotas.
Have a great day, pal. Good luck. You know what they say, if you can't compete, you ain't going to eat no meat. You're going to be eating lots and lots of Kentucky Fry, I'll tell you that. Or is it Bojangles? Because you're not going to be able to afford no ground sirloin, no Chateaubriand if you can't compete. So get you an education. Start changing all the priorities here and stop with the crap. Oh, well, the Jews this and the Jews that. I don't know of anybody, unless they went to work for B'nai B'rith or something like that, who ever got hired, unless it was in a Hebrew school, because they were Jewish. I don't know of anybody, even interior designers and hairdressers, who ever got hired specifically because they were gay. Do you know of anybody like that?
No.
No. Besides Carlos. Open line on the out-of-town line, 877-785. Oh, that was a secret? I'm sorry.
I love this show.
Ilion, we're getting tired of you.
Yes!
Ilion, you should be Cuba bound. Rolling cigars don't sound so hard. You should be on your way.
I'm dying over here.
It's easy, just go flow. Ilion, your inner tube is waiting. All you have to do is go hop on. We'll paddle out and head due south and say hi to your mom. So go back to Havana. It's only 90 miles. So go back and see Castro, buddy, on your brand new I Love USA in a tube. 'Cause you've lost in a tube. So go back, Ilion. It's so close, you can see. Your daddy and both grandmas. Ain't that far?
12:15 at 560 WQM. Happy Wednesday to you. Speaking of Ilion, he's the topic of a Republican letter in the state of Florida. An unwitting fundraiser for the Republican Party of Florida. In a 4-page letter written in Spanish and mailed to voters in South Florida, State Party Chairman El Cardenas blasted the Clinton-Gore administration for bowing to Cuban President Fidel Castro in the boys' case. And the Florida Democratic Party is blasted right back. I'm surprised that Chairman Cardenas would use this issue to collect money, said Screven Watson, the party's executive director. The Clinton administration has tried hard not to politicize the Ilion case and keep it in the legal system, he said. Now, is that Screven or is that like a maybe one of those European, maybe it's Screwen, his first name. Isn't that what Sherlock Holmes always used to say when they asked him what he was doing? Screwen Watson? Yeah, maybe it's Screwen Watson. But at any rate, so there's Ilion again, being used and manipulated, this poor little 6-year-old kid. And what's her name? She's in still in a hospital, suffering from fatigue and fat, Marius Lasis. Do we care about that bitch?
No.
No. Got a couple open lines on here, which is pretty shocking to me. Is it shocking at all?
No.
No, and a couple that don't work. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Out-of-town line's waiting on you. That's been pretty weak again today. 877-785-6345. How come we didn't have anybody from Palm Beach call on that line to explain to us how up there, if you're like between the age of 10 and 100, you got to fast a few meals today because it's Ash Wednesday. But if you live in Dade County, you can eat to your heart's content. Don't you think they should have at least taken those kids to like Kentucky Fried or somewhere, all those school kids, while they're cooling their heels? Somewhere. Bring them some lunch. Do something. That was heartbreaking. That was pathetic. Here's all these kids like lost children just wandering around, waiting for somebody to come and pick them up, take them somewhere. And these people don't give a flying crap. They're more concerned about Danny Marino. Wait till you see. We'll get 40,000 responses on this on the website tomorrow. You watch. 50 million responses. Because that's all they give a crap about is stupid, idiotic sports.
Idiotic.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, is this Neil?
Sounds like me.
All right, Neil. My opinion on the affirmative action is this.
Yes?
I feel that, okay, we want to do away with affirmative action because everything is equal after 30 years of it being in place. You agree with that?
Everything is equal?
Yeah, after 30 years of affirmative action being in place, we think that it's equal.
I didn't say anything is equal. I said it doesn't work.
Okay. The thing is that black people in this country have been discriminated against from day one.
Yeah.
No other race has arrived on the boat in chains.
Uh-huh.
If you know one, you can let me know. My history is a little shaky on that issue.
Are black people wearing chains today? Are they in shackles and chains?
They're not in shackles and chains today because it won't be allowed.
Let me ask you this.
The thing is that things are still not the way it should be.
Sir, back in the early 50s when we had the McCarthy witch hunts in this country and all those writers and we had all the red baiting going on and all the witch hunts looking for commies under every rock. Was it black people who lost their jobs then or was it Jews?
Well, let me ask you this.
That was less than 50 years ago.
The difference
You're
is
talking about
that
stuff that happened 300 years ago.
I feel if you should do away with affirmative action, then also do with the race question on applications. When you find it out, why is it that important for them to know?
Fine with me. Race, religion, it's none of anybody's business. That's correct.
Right. There you go. So, and the thing is, if you're interviewing, well, set up a system to where you don't know who you're interviewing. You don't know whether the person's black, Chinese,
that's right.
2'1", whatever.
Can wear a hood over there.
In the situation, they turn and
wear a John Rocker hood.
Well, there you go. Okay?
Okay,
well,
fine.
that's my comment on that. I appreciate your show, and everyone has their opinion.
And I'll pray for us.
All right.
Okay.
Take it easy.
See ya. Especially on Ash Wednesday. Manishtana Halala Hazeh. Don't you say that on Ash Wednesday?
No.
How about Purim?
No.
No? I'm going to keep trying till I find just the right holiday. Manishtana Halala Hazeh. Mikol Halalos, Beret Pri Hagofen, have some wine. Try to wine. I never drink wine. Has nobody said something like that? See, I get those all lumped in there, mixing them together. Just like Clockwork Orange. He should have been drinking the wine. Had his puss flop right over there in the goddamn spaghetti bowl. Here's Miami. Hello.
Yeah. Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How the hell do black people get pampered? What do you mean by that? Since when have we been
Pampers?
pampered?
Don't you know what Pampers are, sir?
Not Pampers, pampered.
Yeah. People who get jobs just because of the color of their skin, that's called pampering somebody. Okay. If you can qualify for the job, then more power to you.
Okay. So
what part of that don't you understand?
Okay. Women had affirmative action, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's got to end too.
So what's wrong with that?
There's very, very much something wrong with that.
What's wrong with giving women affirmative action?
Sir, let me say it again.
Right to vote.
Let me say it. What does the right to vote got to do with affirmative action, with a job or a place in school? What does one have to do with the other?
You see, what you're doing right now, Neil, is
expressing my opinion is what I'm doing.
Exactly. And your opinion,
the American effing way.
And your opinion is very dangerous because
my opinion is dangerous because it doesn't coincide with yours. Maybe your opinion is dangerous. How do you like that? You ever stop and think about that?
Because it's putting the wrong ideas in the minds of people. That's what it's doing.
Sir, I'm going to tell you right now. We're going to take a poll tomorrow on this on the website, and I guarantee you, because they've already done the poll statewide and nationwide, the overwhelming majority of people in this country, in this state, in this town are very, very strongly opposed to affirmative action.
Because the people in this country are old white people. You know what I'm saying?
Old white people.
That's right.
The
majority of people in Florida.
The only people who they take the polls as old white people?
The majority of people in Florida, we know it, are old, retired, fat fags like yourself.
Yeah, right, fat fags. Okay. And what about the rest of America?
Okay. And
what about the rest of the country?
What do you mean, what about the rest of the country?
Just what I said. Are the majority
old? The rest
old?
of the country fear black people. That's why they don't want us to be on top. Because they know
they don't want you to be on top?
That's right.
Well, it sounds to me like you're a guy that maybe likes to be on the bottom.
You fear us.
Yeah.
You fear us. And in the end, we will be on top.
You'll be on top of what?
That's right.
On top of affirmative action. On top of Old Smoky?
Just like the white man has been on top ruling for years.
Yeah.
For thousands of years. And it's time for it to end. And it will end.
It will. How's that going to happen?
A black man will be in control of the shit.
Okay. Thanks.
I thought they were.
They're control of their Schmidt, is that what he said? I thought that was like a German name.
He just made the case for you.
I don't want to hear that crap. I mean, that's just so pathetic, just on the face of it. 5670560, pound 560 on it. Pound the pork, okay, pal? That's my suggestion to you. Pound pork. He wants to be on top. What do you say? He wants to be on top or on the bottom? Who's going to be on top?
Roy!
Well, I hope they have a good time. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Uncle Neil, how are you?
Okay, sir.
Good. Listen, I'm glad you're bringing this up because this is something that's been bugging me about this issue for a long time. And the last
Disgusting. It's nauseating. His attitude was grotesque.
Well, it's called ignorance, you know.
Bunch of old fags in Florida is what there is. Nothing but a bunch of old fags.
Nothing but a bunch of old fags. The problem that I have, it's so obvious. Why is it so difficult to understand that you cannot fight for equal opportunity and at the same time fight for preferential treatment?
Uh-huh.
You can't be on both sides of the coin.
I'm glad you used that term. There's the difference. It's got nothing to do with equal footing or equal opportunity. It has to do with preferential treatment.
And the thing that drives me crazy.
And let me say it again. How long does this go on before somebody is satisfied that we've done it long enough and done reverse discrimination against other people long enough before they feel satisfied? How many generations, how many lifetimes before it stops?
Well, obviously, it's getting ready to stop now, and I think what the problem is you know, it's always everyone's always talking about the black issue, the white issue, the blah 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 issue. None of that holds any water. What I think the bottom line is, I think there is an inherent fear on the part of the people who are fighting for affirmative action. There is an inherent fear to compete because, without getting into stereotypes, certain people are lazier than others.
Lazy and shiftless and wear big shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and have large penises.
Yeah, you said it.
Keep going.
Said it, I didn't.
And eat a lot of watermelon and chicken. Yeah, I can't imagine what you're getting at.
Well, you know, I mean, basically what it boils down to is the person who goes out there, gets the education, fights for the job, and wins the job is the person that I want having the job.
Yeah.
I mean, there are those that go out and make things happen, and there are those that sit around and wait for handouts.
Right.
And I think that the inherent fear of having to compete is what's causing all of this pro-affirmative action garbage.
And this guy that just called here, this militant lunatic, this guy's just a freaking racist is all he is.
Well, that's the other thing that kills me. They don't realize that what they're saying is exactly the same thing that they're claiming they're fighting against.
He says that he blames me. He says the things that I'm saying are stirring up all kinds of bad attitudes, and they comes out with the worst racist crap I ever heard in my life.
Well, you know, again,
but they're going to be on top, and they're taking over, and it's their time, and yada, yada, yada. Maybe he's talking the NBA is what he's talking about.
Well, and like I said at the beginning of my call, you know, it boils down to intelligence and ignorance. You know, the ignorant people stand up there and say, oh, affirmative action is the only way that we're going to be able to beat racism because the white man is ruling supreme. And that's a bunch of malarkey. I mean, there are so many intelligent, well-educated people of every color, of every race, of every male, female, animal, vegetable. It doesn't matter. You know, the people with intelligence are the ones that are going to wind up on top. Not the people that are out there fighting false battles that occurred 250 years ago.
There you go.
All right. Well, listen.
And have a great day.
Yeah, you do the same.
And say hi to Charlton Heston and Ronald Reagan and all those other turncoats in Hollywood, all those assholes, all those backstabbers that were snitching on everybody allegedly, even people that weren't goddamn commie pink or whatever the hell they were back in the 50s.
You son of a bitch.
Exactly. That's in my lifetime. That's not that many years ago. We're not talking about people in chains and shackles. We're talking about blatant discrimination. And then, of course, we could go into the fag thing. Since this guy's so concerned about fags, we could talk about that. Are most of the people still in the closet?
Uh-huh.
Last time I checked, and the reason they're still in the closet, sir, is because they're terrified. You talk about being terrified, they're scared crapless. Because we live in a homophobic Neanderthal society where most people would like to be out of the closet, but they don't dare to do it. There isn't a day that goes by that people don't get fired because, whether it's in the military, whether it's in civilian life, wherever the hell it is, that people don't get canned, lose their jobs because somebody finds out that they're a fag. And you want to know why, my dark-complected friend? Because
that's the American fucking way.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. This old fag. I'm starting my own show like Bob Vila, only mine's going to be called This Old Fag. 26 past noon at 560 WQAM.
This has been an amazing adventure for me this whole year, and along the way there have been so many people that have made me feel so special, so I want to take this opportunity to make them feel special.
First, I'd like to thank my plastic surgeon for taking me from those poor little A cups to these nice full C's. I want to thank my daddy for suggesting the idea and being the first one to tell me that yes, they do look real. I want to thank my manager for forging my mom's signature of the implant consent form. And I want to thank you all for appreciating my music.
Your what?
Okay, my boobs.
Okay, thanks, Brittany. Okay. It's 12:31 at 560 WQM. This overhead keeps getting lower and lower, and I keep cranking it up higher and higher and higher, and it's just a piece of crap, like everything else in here. How's line 8 doing, by the way? Have we checked that lately? Uh-oh. Wait a minute. It might just actually work.
Line 4's working, too.
Line what?
Faux.
Faux? So here's our update on our poll question today on neilrogers.com. That's NEILROGERS, all one word, .com. And we'd like to get at least 1,000 votes on this by tomorrow. Question today, should Dan Marino retire? 112 so far, that's 55.4%. Sign with the Vikings, 67, that's 33.1%, a third. And play another year with the Dolphins, only 22, 10.8%. And I guess the reason that it's that low is probably because most people out there realize that ain't going to happen. In spite of what Eddie Jones says, the Dolphins are, again, as usual. Just like they told us that Don Shula retired. Right, Wayne. And you know Wayne would never lie to us. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Neil, I'll tell you, I think we ought to take all these, first of all these bus drivers, what do you think the percentage of them that got their job through affirmative action was?
100.
So I think.
What are you laughing about? You asked me. I'm giving you a serious answer. 100%.
I know you agree with me. And I've dealt with a lot of state agencies. I mean, I'm in the car business. I go to state agencies every day to get license plates and everything. And these people don't even want to work when you go there.
Yeah.
I think we should take the buses, load them
We had
up.
another 300 today, George tells me, was on the local news just now. Another 300 who went up there to Tallahassee on their busman's journey up there to sing a song and dance for the governor. And meanwhile, so we got a whole bunch more kids that are stranded in the middle of nowhere.
That's ridiculous. I think we should have all the Catholic people that took off today to get their ashes go pick up the kids, take them to school.
There you go. Excellent idea. The only problem with that is don't let the priest do it.
Fill the buses up.
Never see those kids again.
I bet you know a few priests. We should fill up the buses full of the affirmative action people and run over Dan Marino.
Okay. Whatever you say. Anybody know what he said?
No.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. So you get into real trouble when you start with a comedy subster, when you try to do a little sit-down comedy, and you start just rambling on, saying incoherent crap. And you can like smell it. Can't you smell it?
Uh-huh.
Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm a black person who spoke to you before about issues. I'm not from down here, so it's a different ball game down here because I'm from Chicago.
Well, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, it is.
I got you people all jammed out there in Homewood and Cicero and Chicago.
Oh, well, I know about, I'm from Chicago Heights, so I know about Homewood.
Park.
And I'm self-employed. I make over $100,000 a year.
There you go.
But it's one thing about it is that, not be brought in this issue, I know that young black guy who was in there before, he kind of went overboard with his outlook on the thing.
With his racist
crap? But that's not the real issue here. The real issue here is that the first 10 Bill of Rights said that everybody who was a citizen in this country had the right to vote, but it took an amendment 180 years later.
It says in the Bill of Rights that everybody who's a citizen's got a right to vote?
Right.
Where does it say that?
Equal representation. Isn't that what that means? Does that mean
equal representation? What does that got to do with
one vote for one person?
That doesn't say everybody's got to right. First of all, you had to be a male and you had to own land. Only male landowners could vote in colonial days.
Okay, then that has to
means
change
that cotton pickers and women couldn't vote.
So okay, then that ain't true now.
They said you ain't got no cotton picking vote, man. Is what they said.
Well, I got to vote, but I know you're trying to be sarcastic.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just
but
telling
the bottom line is that if a law is not on the books, to enforce people, because let's say what happened after Andrew. They found out after Andrew, because it was 30 years before the last hurricane, that all the builders decided to change whatever they want to in that 30 years because nothing was happening to stop them from doing it. And then it took a hurricane to find out that they had been not doing it right.
So what does that have to do with the price of peas? What are we talking about?
Okay, what I'm talking about is 30 years only been how can all the people who are complaining about affirmative action are 30 years old because their rights have been left. It took 180 years even to get along the books that equal representation. I'm 50 years old. I know what it was like. And let's get one thing straight. This damn state in the 80s, black people had to go on the beach with a card. Even the famous ones had to go on the beach with a car. I guess we're supposed to go back to that too, huh?
But why do you want me taking up spot on the beach? You already got a good
And
suntan.
another
Those
thing,
white people
you want to go
get
back
suntan.
to the movies of '54 during the Carnegie days? Let's face it, everybody that lost their job, they were above average salary people too. Now they had to come down and sweep floors like everybody else. So they got back.
So in other words, it was okay. Wait a minute. Okay, that those people. Sir, you're just screaming. I don't have time to deal with assholes like you. Okay, pal? Screaming and hollering and carrying on. You're a maniac. He's hysterical, just like Connie in Godfather. He's hysterical. I think we need Luca Brasi to take care of his problem. Maniac. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. So in other words, what he's saying is it's okay that those Jews, those commie pinko Jews alleged, all lost their jobs and got drummed out of Hollywood back in the 50s. Brilliant people, talented people, people who had something important to contribute to society. That was okay. So then they could come back down with the ordinary folks and sweep the floor. See, sir, if that's all you're qualified to do is sweep the floor, then that's probably what you're going to be doing, is sweeping the floor. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Yes, I just want to say I'm a white American. I agree with affirmative action myself. And hello?
I'm listening.
Oh, okay. I don't know why you're being so racist today. Normally you're not like this.
Well, I mean, why is it racist to be against affirmative action? I'm for everybody getting a fair shake, competing on equal footing.
Who's doing the hiring?
I beg your pardon? Who's doing the hiring? Whoever owns the businesses is doing the hiring.
Okay, and who owns the majority of the business in America?
Well, so what does that mean? You're telling me that until the day comes that ethnic, who hires Chinese people? Who hires? Let me ask you: do we have affirmative action for the Vietnamese refugees that came here?
No, we don't.
For the Koreans?
I don't know.
No, the answer is no. For the Chinese?
You're still queer.
Oh, okay, great. See, there you go. And I'm sitting here making a lot of money, and what about you, pal? Loser is the word that comes to mind immediately. And I'm still queer and very happy about it. And you're out there losing, sweeping floors. Or maybe probably unemployed since you got time to call the show. 22 before 1 at 560 WQAM.
A lot of spooks in New Jersey. Welcome to another edition of Inside Lifeless Word Holes. Dre Stan Nasal Mist is our guest today. Yo, Dre, what do you have to say about your admirers who are obsessed and worship you in every way and base their intellect and entire existence on your ability to catch a ball?
I don't know what I've been told, but the big-legged woman ain't got no soul.
What's your take on the over and the under of the over of the underwear?
I don't know what I've been told, but a big-legged woman ain't got no soul.
And what's your take on those rumors flying around that you're articulate enough to replace Michael Jordan on those MCI spots? They say you're getting close to signing that contract.
I don't know what I've been told, but a big-legged woman ain't got no soul.
Tell us more about your charitable work for underprivileged children, helping to improve their mathematics skills through showing them how to properly weigh crack rock.
I don't know what I've been told, but a big-legged woman ain't got no soul.
We'll be back with more Inside Lifeless Portholes.
1244 at 560 WQM. Affirmative action. The answer is
no.
Forget it. No, see, if you got an education, if you're qualified, if you can compete, you're not worried. You're not paranoid about that. But if you're dumb, if you're uneducated, if you can just do sweep floors, see, most people don't want to just sweep floors. They want to have a job that they're way underqualified for just because somebody's making up for something that happened 200-300 years ago that had absolutely nothing to do with them. And let me say it again, as a fat, aging Jew fag, I know all about discrimination, and I don't expect any special favors. Just a phone system that works would be nice. How come none of them are, they all say they're all holding. None of them say anything. Here's a mobile in Stewart. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have to disagree with one of the previous callers that said people who are pro-affirmative action are just afraid to compete. I think that's true of some of them, but I think a lot of them are afraid they won't get the chance to compete if there's not some other program, which I'd like to propose right now, which would be affirmative fairness, which just means if it can be shown that you are qualified or equally or better qualified but didn't get the job or the opportunity, then
how do you prove that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's difficult, obviously, but you take the example of state contracts in Florida. Jeb Bush's new program.
I got news for you. They'll take payoffs from anybody. If you got the money to bribe the people down here, especially in Dade County, they don't care what color you are.
Well, that's probably true.
That
That's
is
not
true.
right. That's not right either. That
I didn't say it was right. I'm just telling you the way it works. That's the way business is done down here.
Okay, but on affirmative action, I agree it has to be ended. Reverse discrimination is not the answer, but we do need to some way address when, like, for example, it's been shown in studies that blacks or dark-skinned people are turned down for loans when they are they have the same income and same qualifications as a white person. I mean, that kind of thing needs to be addressed. All they need is equal opportunity, not a handout.
Mm-hmm.
And if we get some kind of program like that, I think in time, the prejudice will take care of itself, and as generations go on.
Well, how many generations? Another 100 years, 200 years, 500 years?
Well, I don't know how many it'll take, but as long as you're just saying you have to treat people fairly, not special treatment.
That is correct. That's precisely correct.
Right,
and,
and
the same people that are screaming and hollering right now with Governor Bush, if they were more concerned, see, how come those people aren't concerned about the education system and all about these school bus drivers that took off to go up there to be rabble-rousers the last 2 days? How come they're not always screaming about how bad education is and how we have social promotion and about how some of the young people, blacks in particular, are advanced from one grade to another when they can't even speak English properly, much less getting a meaningful education? Where's the protest about that?
Well, you're right. There should be. I think there's a lot of hysteria around this issue because people are afraid that they won't, obviously there's a significant percentage that aren't qualified, aren't educated, aren't
that's not all this complicated, okay? Let me just spell it out for you. Somebody who's competing for a job right now, who's 25, 30 years old, whatever they might be, they're not willing to sit back and wait till some future generation, maybe in 100 years, has the opportunity to get that job even though they're qualified. They want it now. They only have one life to live, like the soap opera says, and they want to have the chance to live it now. Period. Simple as that. 567-0560, pound 560. On the AT&T wireless line. Out-of-town line is open, 877-785-6345. All lines working. Oh! This hour. Wow, what a shock. Now, next hour we can't vouch for. Here's Lake Worth. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
You know, you never hear these darkies like the Reverend Jesse Jerkson or Sharpie Sharp that never talk about black-on-black crime.
We're not talking about crime today, sir. My bigoted, hysterical friend. We're not talking about crime today. We're talking about affirmative action. But thank God we don't have to worry about competing with the rocket scientists like you. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Out-of-town line, 877-785-6345. You know, this show, I'm telling you, even though it's an entertainment show, like I told the bozo before, the education I get here every day is staggering. It's amazing. And I get paid for it, to get this education. About how many morons there are per square inch out there. Not just in this town, but just generally speaking in the world. And, of course, this country, we're number one in that. We lead the world in morons per square inch. We specialize at it. You know, another word that I'm getting really sick and tired that's coming, just like the Generation Xers, all these cliches the media comes up with, these categories. The new fancy schmancy word is retro. Everything is retro. I saw an article in the paper the other day that made me want to vomit right on the page about how the return of the quiz shows, and the reason for their popularity, it's part of the retro movement in America today, where we want to turn the clock back and go back to a simpler, calmer, more peaceful time when a quiz shows were very fun. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with one word, which is even the name of one of the shows, greed. That's what it has to do with. That's what it's all about, greed. Retro my fat ass. Here's North Miami. Hello.
Yes, hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I have a lot of friends that say that the black people in this country is better off during segregation for the simple fact that they were educated by black teachers that wanted to teach them, and those who did go to school were educated by people who wanted them to learn.
Yeah.
That's not the truth nowadays. Nowadays, the kid that goes to Edison is not getting the same education as the kid that goes to Carroll.
And isn't that pathetic?
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you fix the education problem,
and I would say this to you, sir. Also, as a result of affirmative action, we have a lot of black principals and teachers who can't speak English themselves and have no business being in that position.
That's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. That's right.
But the fact of the matter is, affirmative action was created because educated people were not being given the opportunity. Now you have uneducated people, because the system has been corrupted, that are getting opportunities. And that's not going to change. If you continue to promote teachers that can't pass this test that Governor Bush want the students to pass, to be teachers, how are they going to teach these children to speak properly, to be able to communicate, to be able to compete? Right? The Jewish people, I thought, did the best thing. Every place they went, they've established their own schools and taught their own children.
Every place they went, they established their own schools
and have taught their own children. And
where is this? Where did Jews have, other than Hebrew schools, which most Jewish kids don't go to? Where did they establish their own schools in this country? What are you talking about?
Let's talk about in North Miami Beach. There's a Jewish school. All right. Every.
Sir, let me ask you seriously. What percentage, off the top of your head, what percentage of Jewish kids in this town do you think go to Jewish schools?
The ones with the money, a large percent. I'd say over 100%.
Over 100. Okay, thank you. Okay, George, did you write that down? Over 100%. No, I'm serious. I want to leave a little dead air there so that can penetrate all of your minds, because I was never aware of that. And maybe we have to take a poll on this one day. Be a good poll question. Over 100% of all Jewish kids from families with money go to Jewish schools, because Jews have started their own schools, educate their own kids. See, that's news to me. I went to Brighton Elementary School in Rochester, New York. They had a lot of Jews in that school, and was it a Jewish school?
No.
No, we had plenty of Goyim. And then I went to Canandaigua Academy in Canandaigua, New York High School, and we didn't have a lot of Jewish kids in there because there were only like 10 of us Jews in the whole town. But nevertheless, did I go to a Jewish school?
No.
No. And look what a genius I turned out to be. Take a look at me.
Yeah.
If you got a strong stomach. Over 100%. What's there to say at this point, you know?
Well, how much over?
I say go home. That's what I say. Go home. Let's get out of here. Let's talk to our good, close, personal friend that we haven't heard from in a very long time.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hi, Neil. I'm calling in from Durham, North Carolina. I'm listening to the internet.
Uh-huh.
And I've got this, I noticed you're talking about affirmative action, and I've got this item that came off the internet, something about Al Gore in a meeting at the White House. There's this gentleman, Ward Connolly, who's written a book called Creating Equal, My Fight Against Race Preferences. And he gives a little interesting story here about his meeting with Clinton and Gore.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to fax it to you. It's
Yeah.
like a couple of paragraphs.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, it's titled Gore's Squeeze Play. And it tells about this weird handshake that Al Gore, he says, Al Gore grabbed my hand, but instead of shaking it, he ground my palm and fingers in his grip as hard as he could. I felt the cartilage compress and almost cried out.
Okay, great. Well, that's good news. It's the secret handshake. Maybe he's a Mason. Yeah, he gave her one of these with the middle finger there on the palm of the hand. Is that what she was talking about?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think so. She was from North Carolina, Durham, no less. Your favorite state, Durham, North. That's North
Second favorite state.
Carolina, next to Montana. Joe. 1-877-785-6345 is our number on the Durham, North Carolina line. He's got the secret handshake. He was squeezing the cartilage out of his bone. I got a line for that, but I'll wait till I see JP later on. Here's the mobile in Cooper City. Hello.
Yeah, Neil, I think everyone should read the chapter to the agnostic in the Alcoholics Anonymous book.
The what?
The chapter to the agnostic in the Alcoholics book.
Yeah.
AA book.
And?
That's all.
What does that mean?
Well, there's too many alcoholics in this country.
Okay, great. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. What did the guy say? That's what it sounded like to me. Here's a mobile in Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Over 100%.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Have you absorbed that yet? Has it penetrated your skull? You better get with it, man.
I know
he was just estimating over 100%.
I guess there's some people, faking to be Jewish or something. I don't know.
Evidently.
Anyway,
there's a lot of schools that are disguising the fact that they're a Jewish school.
There you go. Neil, a quick point about affirmative action. I'm a firefighter, soon to be off to the great Pacific Northwest.
Yes,
I
sir.
work in Metro Miami-Dade. The scary part about affirmative action, we got guys coming in here as paramedics are supposed to be saving people's lives, they are clueless and sit around the firehouse and bitch and moan about how they should be getting paid more. I'm not saying every single one of it. It's not a blanket statement.
Now, let me ask you this, more than 100%?
Less than 100%.
Okay.
Probably right around 60-70%
Okay.
of the affirmative action hires. It's scary. It is scary. These people are still, and they're being covered for. You cannot get rid of them.
Right. That's right.
And they're supposed to be out saving lives.
In fact, many of these people, they, like the one I was talking about before, they dare you. They're so arrogant and obnoxious about it. They dare you. You just try to get rid of me. I'll show you. I'll drag your ass into court so fast you know what won't hit you.
The cockiness is unbelievable.
Right.
But I just want to make that point. When they're off into a poor section of town, and it's your mother that's trying to is going down from a heart attack, and these guys can't even start an IV. Good luck. Okay, there's your affirmative action. Good day, sir.
Good luck, pal. He's pissed. He's hostile. He's psychotic, isn't he?
Uh-huh.
And rightfully so. Out of town line is waiting on you, like in Fort Myers over there. They don't like the dark folks over there too much in Fort Myers, do they?
No.
No. They have affirmative action for their sheep, though, over there, I do think. 877-785-6345 over on the West Coast where the Beasleys are. You can, in fact, if you roll down your window, I know they're in Naples, but even in Fort Myers, because it kind of like goes downwind, yeah, you can smell it. That's the Beasleys.
WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Oh boy, it's the 1 to 2 hour.
I'm still in preschool, daddy's 18, mom's in high school. I go to grandma's house at 2:45. She's watching Real World on MTV. Grandma has static and I see 10 to help clean her pores. She still gets acne, but she'll never smack me. Grandma's 34. When mom goes to bar, she needs a fake ID. Can't drive after 9. Mommy has a sister who's younger than me. My uncle's birthday was at Chuck E. Cheese. If mommy gets lucky and brings someone home, I sleep on the floor. I have 2 younger brothers, I'll soon have another, and grandma's 34.
Oh, man, 102 at 560 WQM. So this crazy woman that just called a little while ago from North Carolina, guess where this is from? She sends me the facts. Duke Law University Tower it's from. Duke University. She's probably a professor or something, or a library person. So she sends me the facts, and she neglected to tell us on the air, of course, and maybe she thinks maybe my eyesight is going, so I won't see where this article is from. The National Review, that right-wing, ultra-right-wing rag piece of crap, about how Al Gore grabbed this black guy's hand instead of shaking, ground my palm and fingers in his grip as hard as he could, and yada, yada, yada. The Judas hand squeeze she puts on it. Lady, you need some mental help soon. Serious help. Crazy person. And take Bill Buckley with you, by the way. Take him to church. Maybe you can save an altar boy. Here's a fax that makes a very good point. It says if 360 bus drivers called in sick today to be at the protest, they're defrauding the county. Their county employees paid by our tax dollars are using sick time fraudulently. Time card fraud is a dismissible offense. Excellent point. In addition to which, you see what really frosts my ass is those people know how many substitute drivers there are. So they knew ahead of time that there wouldn't be enough substitute drivers to get all the kids to and from school and to take care of them in time for their exams, in time to make sure they get home safe, and all the other things that these kids are entrusted to. See, this is not some kind of a horseball job. You're entrusting the safety of your children to these people, most of whom couldn't drive their finger up their ass, because I see them all the time. I got right on my corner there, right at my house, is a bus stop for like at least three or four different groups of kids, different schools. So the buses are all over on my street. See them all the time, every day. Encounter them on the highway. And what passes for driving, of course, why should they be any different from all the other drivers down here? But you'd think that they'd have to be. Are they better?
No.
They're worse. Entrusting the safety of your children, but hey, we can't be bothered to screw them. We got our own agenda to take care of here. So that a bunch of other incompetent people can start driving your kids around too, after we're all done. Here's Oakland Park. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir?
Do you have time for a spy report before more no affirmative action?
About what?
Was it 2 in the morning on the other station? They stole first time, long time. Now they're stealing your screen list.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, again. Hey, steal a brain like Frankenstein did. That, Dr. Frankenstein, he stole a brain. It wasn't a very good one, but I think in your case, couldn't hurt. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil. On this affirmative action, the whole point that I think that a lot of people are missing is that they keep saying it should be equal for all. Well, with or without affirmative action, it isn't equal for all. And, I don't particularly like affirmative action either, but I don't believe that if it's gone, that's gonna make anything any better. Because there are still places in this country that I can't live. There are still places, for example, take that caller that called before. He said that blacks were afraid to compete. And then later on in his statement, he says that without getting into stereotypes, some are just more shiftless and lazy. Now imagine that's the guy that's going to interview me and give me a fair break.
I was just watching CNN here a minute ago, and I told George they had Representative Shirley Jackson Lee from Texas on there, member of Congress who happens to be black, who's one of my very favorites. She's a Democratic congresswoman, a brilliant woman, a very articulate woman. Now, how did she get there?
Believe me, there are people that will always succeed, and I myself am successful.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you is that is not the majority. I can
Why?
find a place.
Why not?
I'll show you. There are places that I can go buy a house and live in some very nice neighborhoods, and then there are others that I can't. So for every one of us that may have made it, there's another one that's being turned away. For every, another caller called to tell you about how the people that they do hire are lazy or they can't start an IV,
Paramedics. He was talking about paramedics.
Right. But see, that's another
you think he was just making it up because he's a bigot?
No, but
Then why did he say it?
Well, because this is the thing. Another thing I think people are trapped into. They believe that the only people trying to get these jobs are unqualified black people, and that's not true. This whole thing started because qualified black people couldn't get jobs.
Yeah. What about qualified white people who aren't getting the jobs because unqualified black people are getting them? What about them?
Well, what about the blacks? That's the whole thing. Then none of this. If you're hiring the best person to begin with, then we don't have to worry about it. But the fact is that you're not hiring the best person.
And you know something? Affirmative action has made that 1,000 times worse. That's the problem. That's correct. Much worse.
I think that's
much worse.
I agree. I agree to a certain extent. I don't think it's the best.
Sir, it's not a debatable point. It's a fact. I mean, it's well documented. The fact that we've had affirmative action means that all sorts of people who are glaringly unqualified are in positions, and in many of them like sensitive positions like paramedics, where human life is at stake, nurses in hospitals, all kinds of jobs that they're eminently unqualified to do.
Right, but I'm not calling to defend affirmative action.
Well, then what are you saying?
What I'm trying to say is that it's just not enough to criticize lazy, shitless black people to get on here and say...
I'm not just criticizing. I'm saying get an education is what I'm saying.
I do have an education.
But I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about lazy, shiftless, what you keep referring to, whoever they are.
Right. But my point is that it has to be fair for real. And I think another caller called and said that they need a system to justify fairness. I agree. Let me just tell you one thing real quick. I worked for a company that when the new management took over, they began to fire people, and amazingly enough, it was all black people, all qualified black people. We had to take them to court, and we won a big settlement from them, and they had to shut down the company.
Yeah.
That should have never happened. The guy should have realized that he had qualified people. That's the whole point. That there are people who are qualified who do look for jobs and just don't get them, and that's the problem. I mean, look, there's a state
Jimmy Carter said it, and when I look in the mirror, I'm well aware of it. Life isn't fair, sir. It isn't always fair. You got to do the best you can. I look at Enrique Iglesias on the video there, and then I look in the mirror and I say, life isn't fair. But I do the best I can, and so far not too bad. 8 minutes after 1 at 560 WQAM.
Oh, my God.
New York is where she wants to go to satisfy her big ego. She can have the Bronx and the Marinite. Bob turns over, so I should not give a crap.
Yes.
I want New York to be all mine one day. I hear that Fordham roads the Great White Way. I want more exotic food to keep from the street vendors who sell those potato things.
Look, Asian whores.
Shrink wrap stores.
I like Arkansas.
What for?
I want a divorce.
I want all of New York. I'm a carpet-bagging gang. Oh!
114 at 560 WQAM. I see the NHL players are trying to get even now with the NFL and baseball and all the other sports as far as scumbags are concerned. First, you got Marty McSorley, who got criminal charges for his bashing of Donald Brashear in that game. Yeah, Vancouver have come up with a criminal charge, and he's going to, let's see, he doesn't have to appear in court for his April 4th hearing. He'll plead innocent. He could face a maximum of 18 months in jail, though. Now, police use mace to subdue Belfour. Dallas Stars goalie Ed Belfour was arrested early Wednesday and charged with assault and resisting arrest after a scuffle with a security guard in an upscale hotel and restaurant complex. The 34-year-old goaltender was detained following the apparent attack on the employee at the Mansion Turtle Creek Hotel. A police reports that officers had to spray the two-time Vezina Trophy winner with mace to get him to release the guard from a headlock. Belfour was booked on misdemeanor charges and released on $500 bail, said Ed Spencer, spokesman for the Dallas County Sheriff's Office. Stars general manager Bob Gainey issued the following statement. The Stars take the matter involving Ed Belfour seriously and express concern for everyone involved, but he never stole a freight train or something like that. And it goes on and on. There you go. Let's get a few scumbags in hockey, too. What do you say? Let's not leave it all to the NFL. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. And the out-of-town line, 877. See, I don't understand. I mean, it's great, killing a lot of good time, and I'm sure this conversation will go on. Everybody get whipped up to a frenzy about it. There's nothing complicated about it. You do the best you can. You get an education. You go out there, compete on your skills. And, yeah, there are going to be people who try to discriminate against you, but blacks aren't the only minority group that have been discriminated against in this country and aren't the only ones who ever will be. Education. You go out there and you compete. You kill them with ability is what you do. All these guys in the NFL, all the dark-complected guys, they're not getting hired because they're black. They get hired because they have athletic ability. So guess what? If they had ability to be doctors, to be lawyers, to be journalists, to be whatever the hell they are, they'd be getting those jobs. And yeah, they got a tougher fight, but so do a lot of the rest of us. Here's little Joey, who, by the way, is another drug peddler.
Well, let's get back to the affirmative action.
How's your lovely wife doing?
That's what I was about to talk to you about. She's doing great. She sends you her regards. But in the Dade County public school system, interesting story. In the school that she works at, we're not going to name names, there is a way teachers are getting out of being transferred or put in positions that they don't want to. And this is a school where there's probably less than 0.5%, if that, of any black students.
Now, this isn't one of those Jewish schools, is it?
No, this is a Dade County public school, elementary school.
Just checking.
And the way the teachers are doing it, and people do it all throughout the system, is that they put down themselves as being black on their applications or on their records, so that they have to fill a certain quota of that you need certain minorities in positions.
Yeah.
And in her school, there's probably about 35 teachers who are whiter than snow, who are of black ethnicity on their applications, and they cannot be moved, they can't be touched. And if you look through this public
but that's fraud.
I'm sorry?
That's
of
fraud.
course, that's fraud.
Yeah.
They get away with it all the time, and they go back and when they hear their little colleagues doing that, they go back and they go into their records and change from Hispanic or whatever they are to black.
Mm-hmm.
And once that happens, that's it. They're pretty much like entrenched in their position, and there's going to have to be an act of God to remove them from there.
That's a new kind of tenure, I guess.
So they've pretty much secured their own jobs by going ahead and saying that they're black.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing the things that people do, and then they complain about, it's mind-boggling. I'm all for this, getting rid of this affirmative action.
Gotta go.
And they do the same things, because if you look at Miami, let's say Miami in general, the population, you would think that if you go by the employment and the different categories and ethnicity that you have, they would say that there's about 65% right now who are registered as black employees, and that's not a reflection of our community. I mean, maybe in Detroit or something, but not in Miami.
Well, you better check again, man. They're reproducing pretty fast, Joey.
I just thought I'd share that with you.
Good luck.
Take care.
See ya. 5670560. Birth control. Are we going to say that again? Birth control. Come on. Say it again. Say it with me. Birth control. Stop making so many babies. Birth control. See, this is where you got all these people like the Pope and all these other Neanderthals, and then, of course, the lack of education, dumbness makes for lots of babies. It's tragic. Dumb people making more dumb people. There's only there's so much room for the studio audience and Jerry Springer and Jenny Jones and Maury and all those shows. There's only so many seats in the studio audience. Only so many spots in the NBA. Dumb people making too many babies. Poor people making too many babies. Crack babies. It's pathetic. So you can say queer and fag and all this other stuff. Can't blame us for making all those babies. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay.
Okay, listen, when you were talking about, well, let me put it, I'm a little bit nervous right now, but,
Nevertheless.
But nevertheless, what people are trying to say is when they want to take out affirmative action, you have to put another system in place at the moment. If you pull it out now.
If you pull it out right now?
Well, if you pull it out right now, you're going to leave people hanging.
If you pull it out right now, it might be hanging.
So, what are we supposed to do about that? We got to get a system.
What do you mean by leaving people hanging? What does that mean?
Well, you pull out the affirmative action, and all of a sudden, people are going to start firing people, and these black people are going to be fired, and all that.
Well, let me ask you something. How many black people who have jobs right now who are qualified to do a job, who are doing a good job, do you really think that a lot of those people are going to lose their jobs?
Unfortunately, yes, I do.
People that are doing a job who are doing a good job?
Being realistically,
no, I don't agree.
A majority of them will.
No, a majority of them will.
Yes.
More than 100%?
Well, no, I'm not going to go that far.
Oh.
And another thing, when people go up for applications, you say that gays are discriminated against.
Of course.
And Jews are, but, you can change your name, and a gay can make believe that he's not gay, but you can't change your color. When you go up there and go face-to-face to a personnel director, you cannot change your color. You can change your name. You can say, I'm not Jewish.
I got news for you. First of all, there are many Jews who have mannerisms that make it very obvious that they're Jewish. There are many gay people, as you know, who are not the majority, but there are many gay people, men, who have very effeminate mannerisms, or women who are very, very butch, who are obvious, who don't need to put it down. They can't hide it.
All right, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, and have a great day. See, this business about we can't change it. You know something? We can argue that for the rest of the time. It doesn't make any difference. You got to get a brain. You got to be able to go out there and compete. You can argue with me from now until they stick me in a goddamn box. It isn't going to make any difference. This isn't rocket science. You want me to hire you to do a job? If you can do it, and of course, if you're young and good looking, I'll hire you. See, now there's another whole thing. How about ugly people? I guarantee you that a hell of a lot more ugly people fail to get a job that they're qualified for than blacks or Jews or anybody else. You're going to hire women? You bet your sweet ass they're going to hire some hot-looking bitch that comes in for that job. That's right. That's what George says.
I wouldn't let no ugly bitch come in here and be my intern.
There you go. Just like me. If I got like 3 guys, if George takes off tomorrow to go to North Carolina to open up a dude ranch or whatever. Oh, I love when you're on with Joe Coleman, dude on there. I love that. I get goosebumps. But at any rate, no, seriously, if George should leave tomorrow, get run over by a Mack truck, God forbid, whatever, and I got like 10 guys coming here to replace him, am I going to hire the young guy that looks the best? That may not be qualified? You bet. Well, now you're laughing, but I'm being honest with you. I'm going to hire somebody who's good to look at in there every day. If he can't do the job at all, I'll just, I don't know.
Hire somebody else and just leave him sitting here.
Just leave him sitting there to look at. That's right. Give him kind of a job on the side.
Here, hold this piece of paper.
On his side. There are all kinds of reasons why people get, life isn't fair. Even at Goody Two-Shoes, sin in his heart, Jimmy Carter said that. Life isn't fair. Most of you people out there, like I said, just take a look in the mirror right now, and you'll agree with me. Life isn't fair. It's a bitch, but you do the best you can. Here's Miami Lakes. Hello.
Hi. Hi, Neil. First-time caller.
Yes, sir.
I want to agree with you on most of what you're saying about affirmative action. And for me, it's an unpopular view to hold because I am a young black male.
Yes, sir.
But I think that, like you said, you have all these bus drivers going up to Tallahassee, and I think if my people personally would spend more time educating their children and have the bus drivers here taking the kids to school to get the education that they need.
Right.
we wouldn't have a lot of the problems that we have. And as far as the affirmative action, I think that, well, I want to touch back on what one of your callers said earlier about blacks being restituted. I think that we should have gotten some kind of restitution, but the fact is that we aren't going to get it. So we need to face reality, and reality is that we need to get an education and get out there and compete. And basically, that's all I want to say about it.
Thanks. There you go. I mean, he gets it. The harsh reality of the real cruel world, okay? No more handouts, no more coddling, no more pampering, no more whimpering. You have to find a place to start, and right now is as good a time as any. And you wait and see, when in one form or another, if that affirmative action thing does wind up getting on the ballot, it would be no contest. Overwhelming. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a lady in Hialeah. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Hi.
A little tangent. I'm going to go with Florida 1 and the governor.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave the issue aside, whether it's affirmative action or whatever it is. What do you think about executive order? I mean, he's set a precedent now. What's he going to do next? He's going to sell our water to some company in Texas, which was published in the Herald. You know, I really am scared about that. I don't like executive orders.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'd like to hear your opinion.
I don't. Well, what does that have to do with this?
It has everything to do with it because he did it by executive order.
He did what by executive order?
His one Florida.
Yeah, right.
He did it all by himself. And in the paper, he's quoted as saying, "I know what is best for all Floridians."
Yeah. Well,
Isn't
he's
that
a
little
dictator.
arrogant?
He's a dictator. He's a fascist. We know that.
But what's he going to do next? If we let him, this is a precedent. What is he going to do next?
I wouldn't worry about what he's going to do next because he hasn't got a Chinaman's chance of getting reelected right now. So just hold on tight. And he's already dug his own grave with this. He's out. He's done. He's just like his brother. Stick a fork in him. They're both done.
I hope you're right, Neil.
Okay.
Thanks.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. You see, it really doesn't just have to do with Jeb Bush and one Florida and all this. It has to do with, it is affirmative action, which is the reason that he came up with it in the first place, to try to fend off this other guy who wants to get it on the ballot, which it should be on a ballot. Let the public vote. Everybody has the one vote. Go out there and vote on it. You want to continue with an insane failed policy, or do you want to, go back to what makes sense, and that is giving people an education, giving them job skills, and letting them compete? Is it always going to work? No, but affirmative action doesn't work, period. It doesn't work at all. It demeans and lessens the quality of life. Oh, there he goes with that. That's another one of those code phrases, quality of life, those commie pinko liberal fags. Yeah, that's right, quality of life. Right-wingers get real nervous when they hear that expression, quality of life. We're not supposed to have that. Just keep making babies. 26 after 1 at 560. WQAM.
We got your sports right here. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Get the Hoover out the moon, man.
Getting a head start in learning is very important for your child, no matter what language your school system recognizes.
Class, repeat after me. A-E-I-O-U.
And if your school system endorses Black English, then getting that head start means getting hooked on Ebonics.
Class, repeat after me. A-E-I-O-U.
Hooked on Ebonics teaches your child the intricacies of this new language through direct comparison with regular English. Just listen.
May I please have a cookie? Good. Now try it in Ebonics. Yo, give me the damn cookie, bitch. Very good, Jimmy.
Hooked on Ebonics is the learn-at-home language system that will have your bright young preschooler talking like a violent gang member in just 6 short weeks. He'll learn the double negative,
I ain't no sucker.
the excess plural,
Yo, that toy be mine.
and the proper way to pose an inquiry.
Here, let me ask you a question.
Hooked on Ebonics. Order today, and by the time your child is ready for school,
I ain't going to no damn school.
he'll be ready to drop out. That's our guarantee. Hooked on Ebonics.
Hooked on Ebonics is not endorsed by anyone in their right mind.
131 at 560 WQAM. There's that George W. on here on CNN.
And a compelling message of reform.
Oh, man. McCain, by the way, is dropping out tomorrow. In case you missed it earlier, Bradley's already dropping out today. It's Bora Bora. Bush and Gore, baby. That's what you got. That's what everybody thought they were going to get. That's what they got. Bush and Gore. See, the one thing Gore's got going is that he seems to, pick his opponents very well. He ran against Bradley, who was even more boring than he was, and now he's running against this guy who, just to look at him, man, oh, man, he is dangerous. Dangerous. George E.W. Wonder what he's got up his nose. Here's Oh, what the hell is that? Fax machine is just hyperventilating and screaming back there. What's going on with that thing? You ever hear that before?
No.
This thing, he keeps sending back these, look at this. One after another of these. Which on the very first one, it said where the hell this crap is coming from. JM Contractors, Inc. JM Contractors, Inc. Stop sending us faxes and screwing up our fax machine, you jackass, with these black lines on it. Looks like some of the universal pricing code crap without the numbers. Here's Sunrise. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
When you say that there's not this outpouring of Jewish people trying to make quotas, maybe there's
that what?
Of these Jewish people trying to make these quotas like the black people are, maybe there's not that much prejudice towards Jewish people. Maybe that's the reason why they don't form groups like these black people do.
There's not prejudice against Jews?
Maybe there's not as much. Maybe
What kind of world are you living in?
Maybe there's not that much.
Uh-huh.
And anyways, why aren't they complaining if there is? Why don't they complain?
Why aren't who complaining?
Like the black people.
Why isn't who complaining?
The Jewish people and the
Because
white
instead
people.
of complaining, you go out and you do something. That's why they're not in that shape today. You go out and you do something instead of complaining about it. You go out and you get an education and you put everybody else in their place and you show how much brighter you are than them. You're eating Chateaubriand while they're eating goddamn Kentucky Fried. Okay, that's the difference. There isn't that discrimination against Jews. Oh, man. That's what Hitler kept trying to say. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Here's Fort Myers. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to give you a call. This is the first time I've called you since you've had the toll-free line, so I thought I'd spend a little bit of the Beasley's money.
Okay.
Here's affirmative action over here. I had to go get a new driver's license the other day. It was my birthday. So I wait in line and I sit down, and here's this lady and a real old lady sitting next to her. They call this lady up to get her picture. I find out she's 92 years old.
All right.
They take her in front of the little screen to take her picture, and she couldn't figure out where to stand in the screen. The lady had to come from the other side, position her to get her picture.
Right, prop her up, yeah.
So the bottom line is, do you know what percentage of old people over here get their driver's licenses?
99.
Over 100%.
Over 100, I would think, yeah.
I would talk to you a little longer, but I got to tend to my sheep.
Okay. There you go. Good call from Fort Myers. He's on top of it, and the sheep, too. what is that number? See, I don't know what it is. 877-785-NEIL. 877-785-6345. An impossible number. Here's a lady in North Bay Village. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Another comment on Bush and his affirmative action. Bush knows that his constituency,
Yes.
the bilingual Spanish.
Yes.
Hey, Neil.
Oh, and look at that. Wait, hold on. We just had
She's
another.
still there. Punch her on before you drop her.
Where is she? What line was she on?
6.
Are you still there? Hello? No, she's gone. We just had another magic trick on a QAM phone. She was on 6, and all of a sudden we went to the guy on line 8 who just came on spontaneously by itself. Now, the new phone system has arrived. It came in 3 boxes down there, so Bluff Lindsay was telling us. And hopefully our engineer, who is basically on a busman's holiday most of his life, maybe he'll actually show up here and get going on it, since this phone system is right on the verge of going bye-bye. Okay, you were saying? Oh, wait a minute. What line is he on? He's on 8. Hello?
Hey, Neil.
There he is, yes.
All right, affirmative action. I feel a lot of black people feel they are entitled to certain benefits when everyone should be basically, it should be based on your qualifications alone.
Yes?
I'm in law enforcement here in South Miami, and the bottom line is that every time I stop a black person, I have probable cause to stop them. Okay?
What does that mean?
Probable cause means that I have a reason such as, they have...
When you stop anybody, you mean?
Exactly.
Black or white, yes?
Black or white, it doesn't matter. But the first words that come out of every single one of them is, you stop me because I'm black.
Now, more than 100% say that?
Yes, 100% say that.
Okay.
And I said, no, I couldn't even tell that you were black or not. Your tints were so dark.
Right.
Number one. Number two, you were doing 80 on a 40.
Right.
So what's the big deal? And they're like, oh, you stopped me because I'm black. I'm going to make a complaint on you because you're racist.
Huh.
And I'm like, and every time there are a lot of black officers who are not qualified, who can't write a report, but they got the job. They become supervisors. Why? Well, I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
They're not qualified. They have half the time that I have into a department, I work twice as hard as them. I have twice the stats.
Yeah.
However, they get the job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, send all those porch monkeys back to Africa, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. 567-0560, pound 560 on the. He said let him hang out on the porch for a while. Isn't that what he said? That's what he said. Sound like that to me. Something like that. Out of town line 877-785-6345.
We're the bomb. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
If you blow too much, you're in trouble.
Yes.
Hey, there we go. Hey, y'all, my name is Vance Eugene Thomas, President Bush's nominee for the Supreme Court. And, you know, there's lots of people out there that think just cause I smoked a little marijuana when I was in college, and it wasn't nothing but a pen joint, well, maybe a cigar side joint, I don't remember, y'all, that they don't think I'm fit to be on the Supreme Court. Yeah, I got the munchies. Let's do this quick and get out of here. I want to set y'all straight. When I stop reviewing the law, I don't just review the law. Hell, y'all, I be toking. And I toke it to the east, and I toke it to the west, and I toke it while I look up Sandra Day O'Connor's dress. I be toking. Let's go burn one, y'all.
All right. 143 at 560 WQM. We got Hank coming up at Shula Steak 2 at 2 o'clock. The Bookster at 6. Eddie K. rhymes with GA, 10 o'clock tonight. Few open lines here for you. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. It's interesting to me, by the way, that all these people, I would say 95, maybe more than 100% of the people calling today want to argue with me affirmative action, pro and con, yada, yada. In the meantime, the thing about their kids being left stranded the last 2 days out of school, nobody cares about that. That's okay. All you kids out there, and we do have plenty of kids who listen to this show who play hooky and whatever they're doing. All you kids, I feel real sorry for you living in a goddamn place like this where nobody gives a crap about you people. It's very, very sad. They talk a good game, but do they really care? No, not enough. They don't care enough to send their very best. They ought to be up in arms. They ought to be foaming at the mouth. The only thing you get them foaming at the mouth in this town is hate. That's really what this is all about. You know, like the last guy that called about the porch monkeys. That's what it really boils down to. It's either with the Cubans or the Schwarzers or the Jews or the fags. That's really what it's all about in this town. Which group hates the other one the most? Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil, good show.
Yes, it is.
Hey, I'm upset with the perception that white people are the only ones that violate the civil rights laws. Up in Pittsburgh, just outside Pittsburgh, we had a guy quoted by a black woman that killed all kinds of white people, and the politicians are pandering, wondering what his motive was for the killings. He's already told them what the motive was.
Yeah.
He wanted to kill white people.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like the blacks, they don't hate. You know, it's just the whites that hate.
Sir, people are people, okay? Everybody hates, everybody has prejudice, and have a nice day, okay? 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. This is what happens when everybody's got to have labels. And I realize that people like yellow people, like Asians, or as John McCain calls them, gooks, or blacks, people with different skin color, they can't hide it. This is true. But everybody they have to be an African American, a Cuban American, a Portuguese American, whatever the hell it is. It's pathetic. Religious labels, all kinds of other artificial labels. I'm a Generation Xer. I'm a baby boomer. I'm a
he's an asshole.
Asshole, whatever label is. And this is why there's all the hate and the killing in the world. You trace 99, I'd say probably more than 100% of it to all the goddamn labels. Here's Miami. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how are you? Up to now, you are about 110% right.
All right.
Okay.
I'll guarantee you by the end of the show I'll be 200% right.
Yeah, sure. No problem with that. See, things, marches like the ones held in Tallahassee, if those 10,000 people had gone to work yesterday and had been productive, that would have been affirmative action. It would have been affirmative and action, both.
Yeah.
But the problem is this. Then what would people like Jesse Jackson, that scumbag that only shows up at strikes and at places where he doesn't have to work.
Places where he can be an opportunist and raise money.
Exactly. And then he can write a book because he wrote a book about money. He's the guy that's always talking, bad about money and how Jews make money and how they do this and how they do that. And then he turns around, and the problem is...
Oh, yeah, but he kissed and made up now. He's big in Hymietown now.
Now, he came to talk to. I really can't understand how Jews would listen to him.
Hey,
either.
listen,
That's another point.
the Jews had Jerry Falwell come and speak to them a few years ago when he was real big, before he fell into the Teletubby trap. But, that's a very sad thing about Jews. Every group has got their weaknesses, and Jews, anybody that pretends to suck up to them, they'll listen.
The thing is, like you said many times, there's always going to be racism. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't like you because you're short, you're too tall,
too
you're
ugly,
homosexual,
right.
you too heterosexual, whatever the hell you might be. Okay,
right.
You just got to go out there and get up in the morning and go to work.
Correct.
Or go to school.
Do the best
and
you
do
can.
your best.
Do the best you can.
Exactly. Okay. By the end of the show, I want you to be 200% right.
I was 400 already. I just checked it. 400%. Have a great day.
Okay.
God bless you. I'd say at least 300% of all you Jews out there eat Hamantaschen. Did we get any calls about that, by the way? March 21st. Today. Oh, that's right. It's a ways off. Today's only the 8th. I'll guarantee you that our good friends at Pastry Lane Bakery, they'll come through for us again this year with the real Hamantaschen, the warm, good ones on Purim. Even the Goyim can enjoy Purim. See, that's one thing about Jewish holidays. Most of them center around food. So even Goyim can really enjoy the good stuff. Go into a deli like in Detroit. Any white people in those delis?
No.
Maybe one or two. I'd say 140% of the people in delis in Detroit. And this is way back when I lived there 30 years ago. 300% of the people in there were like dark. Because are there any white people left in Detroit?
No.
No, so somebody's got to frequent and eat that good corned beef and stuff. Might as well be the dark folks. Here's a mobile in Sunrise. Hello. Mobile in Sunrise. Sounds real long gone to me. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Great show. I always enjoy your show. And I've got a point, an unrelated issue that I think should be aired.
Yes, sir.
We've got a situation, a while back, the state just recently stopped selling our driver's license information to these solicitors, that usually call around the time you're eating.
Right.
Now, what I find so crazy about this is you've got to call these same to get these same solicitors off your back. You got to call get the address for Tallahassee, send them $10 to the Department of Agriculture to get them off your back. Now that's almost extortion, a form of extortion, if you ask me.
It's like paying like paying the phone company to have an unlisted number, not to list your phone number.
Yeah, exactly. But this same state sold the information to these guys to enable them to call you, and yet now they're asking you for $10 to get them off your back.
Right.
Now, that's the kind of state we live in.
Yeah, they're squeezing you on both ends.
Absolutely. Great show, and take care.
Thanks. Yeah, that's another thing that, and I realize there's that number you can call up there, which is what he's talking about. But the problem is that if it's a company, and that's where all of my calls come from, these goddamn solicitor calls. You people that do those soliciting calls, I got news for you. I got some affirmative action for you. That's for you. It's absolutely unacceptable. But the law here in Florida, being the horseball state that it is, if it's a company like Citibank or American Express that you have an account with, a credit card, whatever, they can't do that. They can't prevent them from calling you with these stupid pain-in-the-ass solicitation calls. There has to be a law. There must be a law because your home is supposed to be your castle, and this is bullcrap. The idea that they can keep bugging. I get calls on the weekend. I get calls 8, 9 o'clock at night, and of course they can't pronounce my real name, Mr. And as soon as I realize it's somebody that can't pronounce my real name, I realize it's not anybody that knows me. Oh, I'm sorry, he's not here now. Call back in 10 years. Click. It's unacceptable. It's harassment. It's legalized harassment. I don't, whatever you're peddling, send me something in the mail about it. You're already, if it's somebody I'm doing business with, I already get a bill from them every month, okay? I get a statement, I get something. Send me a thing in the envelope there. Show it to me. I'll probably throw it in a wastebasket, but that's okay. Don't ring my phone with crap. That's my message. Stop ringing everybody's phone off the hook with crap. 9 minutes before 2 at 560 WQAM. Got an update on our Danny Boy poll, which I'll get to in a second.
Don't take any bullshit from him.
There is a child living down in Mexico.
Yes.
Who has to go to work every day. Sits at his desk, making clothes for Kathy Lee. Loves the work, but doesn't love the pay. They are the kids who make the clothing. They are the ones who make $1 a day, so quit complaining. It's just clothes we're making, the kind you love to buy. It's you that make $1 a day with Kathy Lee.
All right. There you go. So what are y'all complaining about, like the song says? 1:56, 4 minutes before the hour QAM. Our poll question today, should Dan Marino retire? Well, we got 288 votes so far. That's a record for this time. Retire 159. That's 55.2% say, bye, Danny. Bye-bye. See ya. Thanks for everything. Get out of here. Sign with the Vikings is running second at the moment. 93 people vote. That's 32.2% about a turd.
You turd.
And play another year with the Dolphins, only 12% say he should do that because they don't want him. I don't care what Eddie Jones says, anybody else lies to you about, or Wayne Hypinga, that phony. Of course, Wayne would never lie to us, would he? No. They don't want him back. But anyway, that's our poll, NeilRogers.com. And we'd like to get at least 400% of you to vote on this by between now and 10 o'clock tomorrow. Because this is the most important and pressing issue in town. Is Danny Boy, right? Oh! You got it. We'll see you, Danny. Here's Tamarack. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. If one black person that's equally or more qualified than a white person goes to a job and he gets denied 10 times and a white person only gets denied 1 or 2 times, then of course they're going to vote for affirmative action. Of course that black person's going to fight for it. Don't you understand? I think that you might not be considering that. That's all.
I'm not considering what?
That's the reason.
Well, how do you know that's the case? Where do you get those statistics?
That's what I'm saying. That if that's what they're claiming, if that's what these black people are claiming.
Yeah. And where does that come from? Where's the what backs that up?
Also, I think Dan Marino, I think he should play for the Vikings, and I'll just hang up and listen. Thanks.
Okay. Hang up and listen. See, that was a sports nerd call. That wasn't like a real call. As soon as they say, I'll just hang up and listen, that means they can't have a conversation with you about it. I'm not discussing Dan. Hank's going to be on in 2 minutes. He can discuss it. He can give out our NeilRogers.com, our website, so we can get 80 million people voting on that, because we'll get all the sports nerds to vote. All the people that can't let him go, that just cannot say goodbye to Danny. It's a part of their lives. There comes a time when everybody has to say goodbye, bye-bye, thank you, it's been wonderful, whether it's a divorce, whether it's somebody retires, whatever it is, there comes that time. We have a lot of emotional cripples in this town, like Dan LeBastard. There's the best. I want to tell you, you want to find a guy who's a real asshole, just read the stuff that this guy dishes out. My dogs drop better stuff in my backyard than what Dan LeBastard writes in the Herald. I have never read such swill in my life. Oh, Danny's got to stick around for the children, for the kids. In other words, Danny couldn't go. He still wouldn't be a hero if he retires. He couldn't go around and do good work like he's done tremendous for charities ever since he's